Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my live stream. It is Thursday, October the 14th. We're already halfway through October here. So welcome aboard. Today or tonight, it's already 6:30. It's already getting dark out there, man. We're going to be changing our, getting rid of our daylight savings time here very shortly. So today we're going to be going to do some, looks like Reflector 30 Charlie, possibly for Reflector 1. Charlie, I believe, as well, and we'll jump on 2-meter sideband, maybe do some local rag chew net, not net, but just local rag chew with some of the guys here in Southern California. Always love talking to those guys out here. So anyways, if you are outside the viewing area of local 2-meter sideband, I will be on Reflector 30 in here in just a minute. Actually, I'm listening to it right now. That's why I'm kind of fumbling over my words. I got the Dodger game on as well, too, just over my shoulder to my right. So anyways, let's get to some radio here on the Greg K6EGG live stream. That is almost completely out of focus there, so I'm going to have to work on that here before I get going. Let me fix this up here a little bit. That's worse. That's worse. There we go. That's about as good as I'm probably going to get it tonight. So anyways, jump in the chat, say hi. I already saw Andy in there as I was getting ready. Anybody new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We'd love to hear from you.
Have good speakers. They got 7 or 8 years worth of videotapes or
here's Reflector 30
they
Charlie
on now of that you can get on the internet of all their presentations and all the how-to classes and stuff like that. And yeah, there's over 200 members of this club, not counting the internet members. And they, if you make the call, and somebody's going to help you out one way or the other. So that's what's worked really good for me. And fortunately, I've done some pretty cool stuff with the club. We did we went to a school and did a astronaut talk with them when the space station was flying over. And we had to set up 2 satellite stations and all that. And that was really good. Good experience. I was there for it when it happened. Got to help a little bit on it. And, of course, I've done a field day where my first field day 3 months after I got the license, we were throwing up 60-foot antennas. And, that's quite an experience, especially when you're my age. I mean, I'm 70 now, so I haven't.
This is who we're listening to right here.
1990, but let me tell you, it was one of my best.
Looks like he's over in New Hampshire.
After that, I got into HVAC computers to run the HVAC.
Hitting the wrong computer here. Sorry.
So I got some good electronic background out of that. I had my own company until May, and I retired.
Never been to New Hampshire here.
Anyways, that's what's been going on in my life. But
maybe I could talk to him on 2-meter call frequency of 140-6520.
So because us old timers, they're dying off pretty fast. So
the young ones are too, by the way.
Otherwise, it's going to go stale. And kids nowadays, they don't know stuff that we knew back 50 years ago, 60 years ago. So, I mean, ask them what a fax machine was, and half of them don't know that. So, back to you. And this is KC1RLS.
Yeah, Roger. You know what? You're a year older than I am. I'm going to be, October 22nd, I am going to be 70 years old. So you're probably a year older or whatever months, whatever. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Yes, sir, I understand. Back in the day when I was working, I retired from the University of Oregon up here. And I tell you what, I got a lot of people from the University of Oregon, the kids, and all this and all that, getting to ham radio. And you know what? They're proceeding. And they still get a hold of me through my emails and all this. And, and they're doing it. And, that's one thing about this hobby. I mean, they loved it. I mean, when I did the presentation and everything, and these guys are university kids. You know what I mean? And that was awesome. So I understand where you're coming from. I really do. I hope more people get into the hobby. Yes, it's a very expensive hobby, but anything can be a hobby.
Yep.
You go golfing,
Yep.
that's expensive if you've ever golfed.
If you're a private pilot,
If you're a pilot and you go out there, it costs you gas.
yep.
So everything you do or
Hangar fees,
ETC
landing
costs you a lot
fees.
of money. W6BGR.
Should I keep going?
RLS.
Yep, you're entirely correct on that. When I learned how to fly, my first pilot's license was a private pilot's license. I did it in 40 hours, and I think it cost me about $2,000 to do it. Now those licenses go for $10,000 to $15,000 to get a pilot's license. That's just for a private license. And then I went all the way up through commercial instrument flight instructor, and then air transport pilot. And I mean, I look at that, and that definitely cost me over $100,000 to do all that stuff back in the 70s and 80s. So it's very expensive. And now how you can afford to fly, I don't know. I mean, aviation gas, I haven't even priced it lately, but I bet it's $6 a gallon right now. And the little plane rented out a Cessna 172. We used to rent them for $43 an hour. Now they're $200 an hour. So, it's expensive. It really is. So, I'm glad I did it when I did it. So, but anyways, that was a good career, and I had a lot of fun doing it. And, I learned a lot about radios. That was actually my first radio license I had, was a restricted radio telephone operator's license. I don't even think that exists anymore now. But you had to have that in order to be able to talk on the radios in the plane. And, but it was good practice, and, it's a little different. I used to know aircraft numbers, November 1, 2, 3, 4 Lima or something like that. And now you have to learn, call signs, which is a little different, and that's a little bit more challenging. But, it's a lot of fun though. And I wish I'd go back and do it once in a while, but I'm too old for it now. And the way the system works, the spy in the sky is always watching you. The radar is always tracking you now with a computer on it, and you do anything the least little bit wrong, and you get a note from the feds telling you did it wrong, and the computer doesn't lie. So, anyways, can't have fun boring holes in the sky anymore. Okay, well, I'm gonna let you go back to you. I have to run in a minute here because I've got make a phone call. But I'll get back to you, James, and it's KC1RLS talking to W6BJR, and go back to you for the closing.
Yeah, Roger, boss. You know what? You take care. You lived it. You learned it. You're still learning, like I am. We're all both the same. We're older guys. I understand where you're coming from, boss. Believe me. I understand where you're coming from. This ain't no joke what I'm talking about. Yeah, I understand. But you know what? I hope you and your family and everybody else take care. God bless you guys. And hopefully, I got you in my call book, and I hope you take care of yourself, your family, and you and everybody else. I hope I can talk to you soon. KC1RLS W6BGR 73, sir, and have a good night.
Yep, 73 to you too, James. And I got you in my log also, so you'll be on LOTW and EQSL there in just a second since we finish up here. And but anyways, same. You have a good weekend and stay safe out there, and we'll talk again soon. So this is KC1RLS signing off with W6DJR 73 to you. Have a good night.
Roger, 73.
So anybody watching on YouTube right now, I'm on Reflector 30 Charlie. If you want to jump in and say hi, we'd love to hear from you. Not expecting anybody to jump on, but I was wondering if anybody else was going to pop on the Reflector before I said something. And I'm watching the Dodger game behind me. I have that in my right ear I'm listening to. Uh-oh. Sorry. Watching a Dodger game. Like I said, not good things are happening. Anyways, who's watching tonight? We got Andy watching. Who else? We got maybe Curtis watching? All right. Let's jump on the reflector here. Kilowatt 6 Echo Golf monitoring reflector 30 Charlie from Southern California. Also on YouTube, if you type on my call letters K6EGG, if you wonder how you sound through the reflector.
Well, you're sounding fine up here in Springfield, Oregon, W6.
Copy that. You cut out right at the end there. How you doing tonight, sir?
Well, I'm doing good. K6EGG, WC, but my name here is Jim, Juliet in Indian Mike. Jim, and I'm in my location is Springfield, Oregon. Right across the way from Eugene. Go ahead.
Copy that. Yeah, I used to go up to work up in Eugene at the college there for football games. I'm familiar with that area. Would drive down, fly up to Portland, and drive down to Eugene. It seemed to be a little easier to get to than flying directly to Eugene for getting out in the morning, because sometimes you get some fog up there. So, yeah, I love it up there. Nice and beautiful. I'm sure it's beautiful up there this time of year.
Not right now. It might be beautiful and green up here, but it's raining, and I'm getting tired of this rain. Finally, we're gonna get a day, 2 days of sunshine. But other than that, everything's going up here. You're sounding good on your radio. You never gave me your location. If you did, I didn't hear it.
I'm sorry, I probably didn't. I'm in the city of Chino, California. I'm 40 miles east of Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles. And also have a little YouTube page going where I go on live whenever I'm chatting with people. So if you type in my call letters into the YouTube search engine, K6EGG, you'll be able to see, hear me, and hear yourself. Although you probably don't want to listen to yourself when you're talking right now, because it might be a little bit delayed.
Yeah, Roger. That sounds good to me. I'm glad you're doing all that. That's what ham radio's all about. I'm not gonna. I got my computer on and everything, but I don't feel like doing that right now. But yeah, that sounds good to me. I mean, at least you're doing it, and I hope everybody out there is listening to us. That's a good thing about ham radio. At least you got people out there doing it. Go ahead.
Yeah, trying to spread the love of ham radio, and maybe you can make a couple more new contacts if someone hears me on maybe on YouTube or something and decides to jump in there right now. I know a buddy Ray. He N3 EPA is listening up in California, Northern California right now, so maybe he'll jump in here in a few. But yeah, nice talking to you, Jim. I'm hoping that the weather gets a little better up your way. If you can ship a couple of those raindrops down south, we can really need it down here. Really use it.
Well, as a matter of fact, it's going your way, not my way. And we're probably getting rid of this. It probably stopped raining. So it's going your guys' way. Thank goodness. Anyway, I'm going to say 70 degrees to you, bro. It's been nice talking to you. And you know what? Good luck on your YouTube and everything. I hope everybody's hearing us and everything on your channels and everything. K6EGG This is W6BGR, Jim in Springfield, Oregon. 73, sir, and you have yourself a good night.
All right, Jim, W6BJR. I really appreciate you getting back to me. It's great to hear somebody up in Oregon there. I miss being up there. I know the weather's not good right now, but I really enjoyed my time up there in Corvallis and also Eugene. But I spent more time in Corvallis doing some college football and stuff up there. So anyways, you take care. Have a nice rest of your evening as well. This is Greg, K6EGG. Monitoring Reflector 30 Charlie from Southern California in the city of Chino, 40 miles east of Los Angeles, California, and also on YouTube if you type in my call letters, K6EGG. All right.
N9WPD.
Is anybody going to jump on here? I'm also watching a Dodger game, so I apologize. All right. Looks like we got David watching tonight. You got Ray, always up in I think you're in, I don't familiar with that area of California, but I think that's northern to central California. I think you said you're heading up that way when we talked the other night.
K04RZP.
Jordan. Let's see where he's from. Let's see where Jordan's from. Jordan's from Florida. Let's take a look here.
K6EGG K04RZP.
K04RZP K6EGG. Good evening.
Good evening. I just caught the tail end of the QSO there. Just kind of interested in what you're doing on YouTube. Want to see if I can check that out a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're on right now. If you type in my call letters into the search engine, K6EGG, Echo Golf Golf, into the search engine of YouTube, and you should hear yourself. You should be able to hear yourself and see me and see whatever I put up on the screen from my home computer and home QTH here off my radio. I also have a video of my screen of my 9700. 9700.
Oh, very cool. I'm gonna have to check that out once I'm not in my truck. So do you have any information on digital modes, especially DStar? I'm kind of kind of new to DStar and kind of figuring out all the quirks as I go along.
Well, I'm kind of new too. I'm about 2 weeks in. Maybe really a week and, well, I guess, yeah, about 2 weeks. Right now, I'm talking into a hotspot that I programmed that someone suggested that's actually watching right now on YouTube, Don W6DUO. You can also talk into local local repeaters that's hooked into reflectors. You can change the reflectors on the repeaters, which I figured out how to do 2 nights ago, which was pretty cool. Still learning a lot about it. I like making a lot of contacts. You know, I probably would have never talked to you in Florida there if I just would have talked on my normal 2-meter 440 rig that I have right now. So it really opened my my ability to make worldwide contacts through my hotspot here virtually. So are you talking into a hotspot or a local repeater there in looks like you're in Florida there, right?
Yeah, that's right. I'm in north central Florida, a little town called Coltical. It's about 90 minutes north of Orlando. I am talking into a local repeater. I haven't used a hotspot. We have 3 local repeaters in my area, so I haven't really had the need to try to use a hotspot yet.
Yeah, some of the repeaters, at least in my area, are owned by clubs, and they prefer us not to change the reflectors to different stuff. They're kind of set up, permanently stacked or linked, to a reflector that's owned by either the server that's owned by the club or the repeater owner that owns the repeater. So, yeah, that's pretty cool that this is hooked up to a repeater. There is a repeater here locally that I know the owner of that's very cool. That lets me change the reflector that it's hooked to whenever I please, as long as I put it back. And if not, it will automatically go back. So the hotspot makes it a lot easier. You can float around different reflectors without bugging anybody else that's listening to the repeater or is waiting for a call maybe on a different reflector through the repeater. So it makes it a lot easier, at least user-friendly, that you can, kind of cruise around wherever you want, whenever you want. So that's pretty cool stuff, man. Yeah, reflectors, the hotspot opened up a new world for me.
Very cool. That's some really useful information right there. I just learned something. So that's something I might check out. I was on a Fusion repeater, and I was changing the rooms, and the owner actually got on and kind of gave me a little talking to about changing the rooms the way I was. So that's kind of something I had to learn the hard way, But I wasn't sure about changing the reflectors. I think these 3 repeaters in my area are kind of permanently linked to the reflectors that they're on. I've never heard of them changing those, but it is interesting to know that. I could possibly have the ability to do that if need be.
Yeah, thankfully someone warned me about changing reflectors when I was just starting out on. I just sucked down a glass of water here. Someone warned me about changing the reflectors through the repeaters. In fact, yesterday I was talking on a local repeater, and I assumed it was hooked up to reflector 12 like it normally is, and a person was trying to call in from another linked repeater to the reflector that was out in Palm Springs, which is my area was blocked by a big giant mountain, so he had to go through a different repeater, and he wasn't able to make contact. And I went on the repeater later to try to talk with him again, and somebody else came on, and I noticed it was hooked up to the repeater I was talking to, which should have been hooked up to a reflector 12, was actually hooked up to like reflector 59 David or something weird. and you can kind of tell in the repeater owner's or operator's voice that he didn't sound too thrilled about that. So I'm glad you learned at some point. Sorry you had to learn the hard way, but I was kind of lucky I was able to have somebody, kind of tell me that beforehand and, suggested I get a hotspot.
Can I comment?
Sure.
Yeah, K6EGG, W6BJR, yes. You guys probably have more than what I have. I got the radio equipment. That ain't my problem. But my thing is, I run only hotspot. I don't have no repeaters up here in Springfield, Oregon at all. Portland, yes. I don't live in Portland. But up here, when you're running a hotspot, you can do anything, without being on a repeater. Anything on a hotspot's out. Go ahead, bro.
W9DSW comment.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Just for information, if you have a 9700 705 ID 51A plus 2 or an ID 31A plus, I think that's it. I don't know if the others does it. I believe that's it. You can use you don't need a hotspot. All you need is a Raspberry Pi 0W and the cable from Icom, and you can use terminal mode. The radio has to support terminal mode, and you just go directly. There's no RF involved in terminal mode, and there's also access point mode where you can use it in access point mode, and the radio becomes your own mini personal DStar repeater in simplex or duplex mode, whichever one you like. W9DSW.
Hey, Dan, you're correct. You're correct. You're correct on that, 100%. No, I'm not. No, you're all correct. And you're very correct. But, some people don't have it. Now, what I have here, before I change all my equipment over, I have an 88H. But where I live, only thing I was saying, sir, to you, I got an 880H. It's an oldie but a goodie, but I just bought me a 51 100, that's going to be here in my shack. And I just bought me what did I buy me? I buy me so much crap. But anyways, my HF is different you're right. But up here in the state of Oregon where I live, I do not, and I repeat, and I know people that have a 4100 and all this and all that. With all this, we still cannot get on. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know who told you, but with the 4100, you don't need nothing. You don't even need RF. You use the cable from Icom and a Raspberry Pi. No hat, no RF. You get right on DStar and access all the reflectors. It's called terminal mode.
K6EGG for a comment.
That's a lot of good information there. I guys appreciate all the comments jumping in there. Those are a lot of things that I've just been wondering about since I've been using DStar. So I appreciate it, but I am back at my QTH from a little gas run. So I'll say 73, and it was good talking to y'all, and appreciate the info. You guys take care.
Jordan, take care. K6EGG, go ahead, comment. I think it was VE6DZ.
73, guy. Have a good night.
K6EGG here. Got one better than all the possibilities put together. Go over to a little company called Western. What is it? Anyhow, it's on my website. Buy yourself a some DV stick, plug it into your laptop computer, install BlueDV software, which is free, and talk to all the reflectors and everything without a radio, without a terminal mode, without a 75, just you and your laptop with some DV from oh gosh, I gotta look up the name again. I forget the name of it. It's in Washington State. $120 plus shipping to your door, and you can be on all the DStar, DMR, and the Fusion stuff.
The Ambi chip. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. And you know that people are just starting out, they can do that too. You know, that whatever tricks the trigger of anybody, you know, seriously. That's a good job. That's a good job. But hey, guess what? You're on. Who cares? You're on. That's all that matters. It all depends on your, circumstance and what you do and do this and do that and what your money and all this and all that. But me, where my location's at, I have to run hotspots. Believe me, I guarantee you that. But everybody out there, hey, do the best. You know, if you got an Ambi, you got this. Everything out on DStar runs on an Ambi anyways. I don't care if you're in a Raspberry Pi doing this, Pi-Star, do this. All of it runs on an Ambi anyways. Let's get that straight right now, gentlemen. It's all the Ambi chip. And, you know, whatever tricks your trigger to get on, I'm glad that you guys are on. You're having a good time. W6BJR.
Kilo 4 Charlie India Hotel.
Go ahead, sir.
DV, blue DV on my 4100 right now. I do plan to go into terminal mode once I get my cable and another Pi-Star to hook it up to try that.
I recommend the Pi 0W without the header and the FLIRK aluminum case with the built-in.
I like my little hotspot, to be honest. It's pretty easy to set up. I had it set up in like a couple hours, but I also needed some help with some people. At least the hard part was set up in a couple hours.
Send me an email with that information, please.
Anybody new to the channel tonight, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, please. Trying to get up to 500 subscribers here by the end of the year.
Charlie India Hotel. I'm in QRZ.
Copy. I also send you a link to the place that sells the UPC 2350 LU for about $54 instead of about almost $80.
Works with me. I really don't like Icom prices.
Yeah, I know, $38 for a mobile bracket.
Yeah, by the way, I do love my ID 4100. It's a great little machine here, and I'm still learning to use it. I'm going to do some programming on it this weekend. It's great to be back in with you, Greg. Good to see you and good to hear you this evening.
Nice hearing you as well there. I'm liking my little hotspot I bought off of Amazon for, I think it was like $110. My buddy W6DUO told me about it there, John. Pretty easy to set up. Are you tucked in? You're not in the repeater right now, you said, are you?
Correct. I am not in the repeater. I'm going over my Blue DV. I can go through the repeater, but I don't want to unlink from the local repeater to do that. And, I know it'll go back automatically, but I would prefer that if I do unlink it, I link it back manually so that there's no issues.
John, send me an email because mine's on QRZ, yours is not. I'll get back with you.
Okay, we'll do. Let's see. Your W9DSW, Whiskey 9, Delta Sierra Whiskey, QSL.
QSL. We'll also send you a link, 2 links to a couple videos to show you how to set that up on your Pi-Star with the 4100. I wish they'd had the terminal mode for the 51, but since it's the nicer dual band, dual receive, 41's dual band, but it's not dual receive, you'd think they would have that. But, oh well.
I'm happy with what I have. I don't think I need to spend the extra money on a 5100. This will serve my purposes. I actually primarily use DMR and some C4SVM, but I'm learning this because we have an emergency network here, and everybody uses DStar, so I want to be able to get in on the Skywarn and all the emergency network stuff here.
Copy that. I'll let the channel go back to monitoring. Let people go back on here. W9DSW. Clear but monitoring.
K4CH clear and monitoring.
K.
K4CIH V60 that.
See, Victor Echo.
Is it just me, or is his audio is not very
John,
good?
K4CIH.
What do you guys think?
Oh, John, it's scary here. Victor Echo 6 danger zone. Anyway, if you wanna go into the section online, I've got a full thing on how to set up the thumb DV if you're at all interested, and it'll do DStar, DMR, and Fusion all off your laptop as a microphone that's in your laptop. Or like I say, you can plug it to the bottom of the Android phone and use the BlueDB software from there, and walk around with your Android phone on whatever reflector, talk group, news group, whatever you wish there, because it'll do DStar, DMR, and Fusion all on one USB stick. I've got the 705, the 751, the 7100 radios, the ID51A plus 2, the Kenwoods, D74, and so on and so forth. So if you check out my Cure Zen page, you'll see all the lovely little toys that I've been experimenting with, and I even have Wires X node and All-Star nodes. So and the company that sells the thumb DV is Northwest Digital Radio, which is nwdigitalradio.com. And for $120, you can work all the modes, XRS, XLXs, you name it, C4FM on one USB stick without having to involve a radio at all.
Yeah, that's getting a little complicated for me. I'm trying to stay as simple as I can with my almost 77-year-old brain here.
Well, let's see. Can you install software, BlueDB software, on your laptop? If you can do that, and if you can change a few little parameters inside the setup screen, and then you just update your DStar, your DMR in a little pop-down menu, then that all works. And your Fusion menu, that all works. With the and have the ability to put a USB stick into a USB slot. That's all you need to run this. It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier than running Doozy and terminal mode on all these other rigs and interconnecting all these different
You know what? You just blew this man's mind. W6BGR.
Oh, wow.
You know, come on, man. You just made that too difficult for this man. Only thing he has to do if he has the money, what he's doing right now, he's doing great. You just done blew his mind. He can go to Shark. It's called Open Spot. He can get anything he wants. YSF. I do YSF. I do Wires X. I do everything. I don't have it. My friends have it. I've already been there. I've seen it. But no, just let the man be. Oh man, you just blew his mind. I'm sorry. Me and my friends over here are laughing. I mean, come on, man. You know, but let him do what he's doing. You know, the best thing that this man has to do, sir, is just get a freaking hotspot. You know, Star. And let him go on his merry way. But what you just told him, and we're all of us, and I'm in the ham radio club right now, we're just laughing. Leave him alone, man. Just let him just do what he's got to do. W6BJR.
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy.
QSL to that, yeah. And I think is good for me, but I'm running the Blue DV off my desktop right now, and I'm doing fine. I just like to experiment and like to learn new things. So, yeah, I didn't mean for this to get into a heated discussion. Everything is cool. We're good. This is Q04, Charlie India Hotel, and I'm going to be clear for a while and just monitor what's happening.
Yeah, it's kind of hilarious that I'd be blowing your mind by installing Blue DV software and plugging in a USB stick, because that's all that's involved. I think that's hilarious, since you're already running a version of the Blue DV.
Hey, it's always user preference. I'm on YouTube right now. I just showed off my hotspot that I'm using. I'm pretty happy with it, but hey, whatever works for anybody else. That's the way I look at it. K6EGG.
Was he talking?
The way I look at it is for new people to get involved in the hobby. This is about the least expensive way, you know, to get on and to have a multi-function.
Dion, I heard you in there for a second.
DMR, C4FM, YSF. You know, with all the XLX and XRF reflectors to boot. So, you know, I know gear is expensive, especially Icom gear is particularly expensive. I have enough of it on my shelf, so, you know, this is a good alternative for those who don't have a big budget.
W6.
You know what? There you go.
Here we go.
And you know what? Whatever trickster trigger, whatever you can afford. And like I said, we're in the club. You know, we're doing our stuff. But you know what? Whatever you guys want to do what you got to do. I mean, the man's doing right. He's on DStar. He can go whatever he wants to do. But at least the man's trying. And we all say to you, and we're all going to say in the club, God bless you, and we hope the best for you. W6BJR.
Yeah, well, someone was asking to learn some new tricks of the trade, and I'm just helping him along in his path down the knowledge road. There, I have two of the Thumb DV6. I'm talking on one right now and stuff. So on my laptop, no radios involved, just the Wi-Fi signal to my.
KE4TLC. Did you have a comment in there?
Well, I'm just listening. I'm just amazed at all the technology we got out here. I'm using the cloud version. We think we switched to stuff. You see yourself kind of
W4WMD.
I like the last four digits or suffix of that call sign there. Weapons of mass destruction.
That's what everybody say. But it's Whiskey 4, Whiskey Mike, Delta. But that's what everybody keeps saying, so I don't know why. But FCC approved it and they gave it to me, so that's interesting, right? Back to you.
Very good tonight. Yeah, I like those call letters, buddy. My name's Greg, K6EGG, and also on YouTube, if you type in my call letters to the YouTube search engine, K6EGG. Nice to hear you tonight, sir.
You're always online.
We're looking at a Felix W4 WMD, weapons of mass destruction, even though that's not what it meant. But checking out his QRZ page, he's got a heck of a station there. It looks like he's got a couple external microphones. Looks like that's a Heil adapter there.
K6EGG, are you still there? This is Whiskey 4, Whiskey Mike, Delta.
I am there, Felix. I'm just checking out your QRZ page. It looks like you got a couple nice-looking microphones hooked up to your radios there. You got a nice QRZ page.
Oh, yeah. I know. Expensive hobby, right? But I wanted to ask you about this. See, myself, I'm running my radio direct to a repeater out here in Virginia. And but I noticed you were talking to somebody about YouTube, so I looked at it. I noticed your settings on the DStar shows your I guess a hotspot, right? And then going to a reflector, it says I use reflector CQ. Is that the right setting to go to whenever you are on DStar? Have you copied me over?
I copy you good, Felix. Yeah, that's so when I'm in this, I'm using DR mode, not the memory mode of my computer or my 9700, so I can change reflectors to the radio versus using my hotspot or using my computer. I have to be in use reflector mode to be able to connect my audio to the reflector. Other than that, I will just be able to hear the reflector, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay, so is that the best thing to do instead of connecting to 001 Charlie or 003 or whatever 62 Charlie or something like that? Is that the best way to connect it?
Well, the best way to connect it is whatever is good for you. Some people prefer to use the web GUI to change the repeaters, or sorry, the reflectors. I personally like using the radio because this is a ham radio, and I would like to use the radio as much as possible. So whatever's easiest for you. Some people have a memory in with their hotspot in it, so whatever the hotspot's connected to, they have to use that reflector and have to go through web GUI. So whatever's easiest for you. This is the way I prefer to do it. I do have my radio set up both ways. If you're watching right now, I can probably go to just a regular memory.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I mean, it's okay because
before I have it on 001 Charlie from the repeater I'm using because I'm connecting direct to a repeater, and then I have my going to on 001 Charlie. But I was able to copy you guys talking, so now I switch it to use reflector CQ, and I'm still copying you guys. So why is it that way though?
So if you're trying to talk on or trying to change it to reflector 1 Charlie and you're into the repeater, you usually have to unlink the repeater from whatever it's hooked into. This might be 30 Charlie right now, and then change the reflector and link it to the new reflector. I think that's how you have to do it. Through the hotspots, you don't have to do that, but through the reflector, you have to.
Okay, because right now I don't even know what reflector I'm on. All I know is that I'm using the use reflector CQ. So right now I don't even know if I'm on 001 Charlie or 062 Charlie or 30 Charlie or something like that. I don't even know which one I'm using right now. I guess the CQ portion of it is connected to all the reflectors. Is that what it means?
Yeah, whatever repeater you're hooked into right now, you're using the reflector that the repeater is hooked into right now. That's what the CQ is.
I hope I'm explaining this
okay.
right.
Well, yeah, I'm still trying to figure out this stuff, but all I know is that it's working for me, right? Back to you. This is Whiskey 4, Whiskey Mike Delta.
Well, Felix, I'm learning too. Actually, I just learned that you need to unlink the. When I was trying to change a reflector on a repeater, I just learned 2 nights ago that I have to unlink the reflector it's hooked into right now, or whatever it's hooked into, before you can link another one. So it's totally a learning process. I'm very, very new to DStar, so that's why I'm kind of on YouTube right now, so maybe some people can learn. I had a lot of trials and error on live YouTube over the last couple of weeks, and the normal people watching like Ray, N3 EPA could attest to that.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for the information. Yeah, me too. I'm learning too. I've been in ham radio since 2009, but for DStar, I've been on DStar for about maybe 2-3 years now. So yeah, I do know how to change the reflector. When I'm trying to. But no matter what reflector I change it to, I'm still able to talk to talk and hear people. So for example, if I change it to reflector or so that goes to, for example, I want to talk to someone somewhere in California, right? And then I bring up the repeater out here in California or so, and I'm going through a repeater here. Will that go through to talk directly to that city, somebody in the city over there?
If that reflector is hooked into a local repeater, yes, absolutely. You look on the DStar Gateway page, I think, to see if it is.
All right, sir. Fine business. All right, thank you so much. This is Whiskey 4, Whiskey Mike Delta out here in Virginia, about 25 miles to Washington, D.C. here. So thank you so much. And 7-3, Whiskey 4, Whiskey Mike Delta will be here listening. I'm using the 5100 though. So I have both VHF on it, and also the other side is DStar. So that's why I'm able to listen to you guys. All right, 7-3.
7-3 to you as well there, sir. Have a good evening. This is Greg, K6EGG. Also live on YouTube. If you type in my call letters, K6EGG. I'm just going to be listening.
But Ray, if you're listening, you can jump in and say hi to me on the reflector.
Oh yeah, I was able to check your YouTube. Very nice. It's very interesting system you have in there. And I think I admire the boom mic. I may have to get one of those too to replace the one I have. Whiskey for whiskey back there. Back to you.
Yes, this is a nice mic. It's about 20 years old. It's an RE Electrovoice RE20. I love this microphone. It sounds very good to me, and I get a lot of good audio reports when I'm on sideband with it. So I appreciate it. K6EGG.
I thought I saw it as 309A.
Pardon me, I didn't understand what you just said. 309A what?
I was looking at it and I thought I saw the model number as 39309A, I believe. What's the model number of that?
The stand is like the holder right here for it. The boom for it is a 309A, but the microphone itself is an Electrovoice RE20. RE20 right here. I'll give you a picture of it here.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean that mic is fine. Any mic can go into it, right? Can go into that boom, right?
That's correct. Yes.
All right, thank you so much. Whiskey 4, Whiskey Mike Delta will be clear, but listening.
N3EPA.
Trying to. Yeah, there I am. I'm trying to. It just wouldn't go through there. Hi, Greg. How you doing? This is N3EPA.
Hey, Ray. Now that we know we have the same hotspot, do you have trouble with your hotspot dropping off online? I know I was trying last night when I was on the way home from somewhere, and I kept trying to talk, and like every other time I would talk, my signal wouldn't go through the hotspot, or I should say the signal from the hotspot wasn't going through the hotspot on my phone. K6EGG.
I think that's more the Wi-Fi or the phone service. If you have low service, I do notice that mine has a problem with that. My Wi-Fi internet is a little low, and sometimes I have to restart both of them, which I did that tonight. I had to restart the hotspot and the Wi-Fi so it would work. But other than that, I guess it works pretty good.
Copy that. I'll give that a try next time. I know I was getting a little frustrated, but because I was like, hey, I'm going to talk on Reflector 30 all the way home. But that didn't work out so well. I hope, other than your diversion you had this morning, you made a good trip up to Northern California.
Oh, yeah, I got up there, I got parked, got my rest in, and unloaded this morning, and then back over to the truck stop for my bigger break. Yeah, I seen Curtis's call sign come up there, so he's sandbagging too.
Hey, J60, you out there? This is Greg, K6EGG and N3EPA.
Why, yes, I am. In fact, let me see here. I know I keyed down. Why, yes, I am. Oops, I got to turn off my.
Yes, you do.
YouTube because I was keeping that delay. Stand by. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I've been talking to my son as he travels home from Yorba Linda, and I keyed down to talk to him, and I forgot to change my VFO to the other band, so I chucked 30 Charlie, which I didn't want to do at the moment because I'm talking to him right now. but I'm monitoring this one at the same time I'm talking to him. So, yeah, that was me. Howdy, Greg. Hi, Ray.
Yeah, Curtis, I'm gonna have to pick your brain when I'm on this reflector about the hotspots at some point. So it's great to hear your voice as always there, Curtis. And I missed you the other day when I was driving through the high desert. K6EGG.
Well, sorry about that, Chief, as Maxwell Smart used to say. Yeah, you know, on my hotspot, on my router, I have a thing where I can set it that my router or my hotspot gets priority over everything else. So, but even still, sometimes my hotspot even drops out. I don't, and of course my router is only about a foot away from a hotspot, so I know it's not the signal strength. It's definitely, like Ray says, I think it's just the internet.
Yeah, I would agree with you with that 100%. My 5-year-old or 4-year-old iPhone probably isn't keeping up with the latest technology coming off these towers. I know I need to upgrade. I don't know, I'm kind of lazy about it. So I'll give it a try with a new phone probably here in a couple months whenever I decide to get it. I'm also looking at your YouTube page on, your QRZ page on my stream right now. As always, you got a great station there, Curtis, K6EGG.
Well, it's not exactly the most organized. Just don't look behind my desk, either in my garage or in this room I'm right now, because there are so many cables. It's just a big mess. And I don't feel like pulling the table away and trying to straighten it all out because, hey, it's wires. I mean, eventually I'm sure everything's going to be wireless, but at the moment, yeah, I got a big mess. And you should see all the cables coming in through my window in this room. I have 9 LMR 400s coming through a slide window that slides sideways. And, I mean, it just looks terrible. I'm just so blessed that my wife doesn't scream at me to, kind of clean it up, because there is no way to clean it up.
Yep, I totally understand there. I'm a mess behind my desk. Everything looks nice and organized in front of my desk, but you look behind there, it's like a wasp nest of just messy wires and everything else. So, all right, Curtis, I'm gonna go jump over on 2 meter sideband. See if anybody of the locals are out here. I've been hogging up this reflector here for the last 20 or so minutes. So Ray, N3EPA, you have a good evening. I'll probably be back here, and I'm sure you'll be watching on YouTube. AJ60, you know where to find me all the time. This is Greg, K6EGG from the city of Chino, 40 miles east of Los Angeles.
Have a good night, Greg. N3EPA. I'm clear. Everybody else have a good night, too.
All right, for those watching you on YouTube, we've been connected to Reflector 30 Charlie here for the last, I don't know, actually it's probably longer than that because I've been streaming for about an hour, so it's probably pretty close to an hour. Right now, I'm going to be switching over to local 2 meter sideband 144.250 to see if any of our local guys that meet up at night are normally on. So let's see if they're on here. And I'm watching a Dodger game, so I want to kind of pay attention more to the Dodger game as well. But I appreciate everybody watching the stream tonight, and anybody new, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I see Frank in there. The call sign of the person I was talking to and his YouTube or his QRZ page is Curtis AJ60. AJ60. Frank, that's your neighbor up there.
K6EGG monitoring 144.250 upper sideband. City of Chino, 2 miles north of Chino Airport.
Of course, nobody's going to be on here. So if nobody's going to be on here, I'm going to click back over to reflector 30 Charlie and just monitor it. All right, so I'm going to go back to monitor mode on reflector 30 Charlie here. Sorry, I got the audio levels all jacked up. And I'm actually going to use hotspot mode. Did I actually hook up to that? Yes, I did. So we're just going to be monitoring the reflector 30 channel again. You know what? It looks better when I'm in this mode. I'll just go here for now. But let me do this. Way I can get over the 2 meter sideband in one click. All right, so enjoy Reflector 30 here, and I'm going to watch some Dodger baseball here. We're in the 5th inning, and it's tied at 0. So I'll be back.
This is W7GBA, W7 God Bless America, W7GBA Mobile, listening 30 Charlie.
K04HXC. 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 K4CCO. KA9HPL.
KA9HPL, listening 30 Charlie for a radio check. Anybody out there?
Check your mic gain. What radio are you running, sir?
The IC-9700, and I just finally got this working, so I got to start from scratch. KA9HPL.
Okay. On DStar running digital, you want to turn your mic gain to no more than 10 to 15%. For some reason, the Icom radios that have sideband, it's way, way too hot when you come from sideband or FM. 10 to 15% max.
With the new unit I have here, not exactly sure where the mic gain is on this thing, so I'm looking for it now. KA9HPL.
I think it's a little square box in the right-hand corner of the screen.
Multifunction, press it, and the mic gain will be the second box down, N3 EPA.
Okay.
VK5CG.
What we do is a little bit more easier. KA9HPL.
K4TCE. W4WMD. W4WMD. W4WMD.
KA9HPL. Listening 30 Charlie for a radio check.
Copy you loud and clear. This is Whiskey 4, Whiskey Mike Delta. Copy you loud and clear.
Kilo Alpha 9 Hotel Papa Lima. I'm just the first time I'm using this hotspot. I'm doing a little radio check here, and another ham came back and said my mic gain is a little high. As I'm going into digital, I turned it. Finally figured out how to turn this down. But how do I sound? Kilowatt Alpha 9 Hotel Papa Lima.
You are sounding good to me, so maybe different to others, but you are sounding good to me. Myself, I think if it's me, I will leave it on default. Whiskey 4, Whiskey Mike Delta, back to you.
Whiskey 4, Whiskey Mike. This is Kilo Alpha 9 Hotel Papa Lima. Thanks a lot. 73s.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. Whiskey 4, Whiskey Mike Delta is clear. Myself, I'm not using any hotspot. I'm just running my radio direct to a repeater. That's how I'm running mine. Just simple stuff. Thanks. Whiskey 4, Whiskey Mike Delta will be clear. 7-3.
W5AWM. W5AWM.
KE4TLC testing.
VA3XCT.
I guess it's probably a good idea to turn my radio on.
AI5.
Or my microphone on, sorry. I took a little break to watch watch an inning of Dodger baseball. I'm a big Dodger fan, watching on the actually on the
K6EGG.
Oh, wow.
This is KE4TLC. Hot talking.
Wow. Somebody's already looking for me.
Yeah, go ahead. This is Greg, K6EGG, City of Chino, 40 miles east of Los Angeles. Go ahead, man.
QSL. This is KE4TLC. Name here is Dion, Delta, India, November, Lugol, South Carolina. Just testing.
I got you in there, Dion. You sound really good. It was a harder copy a little earlier when you were on, but it seemed like maybe your internet connection got a little better or something. So what's going on, man?
I come in here listening to your stream sometimes. And, do you ever get on DMR or anything, or just mostly DStar?
At this point, I'm mainly on 2-meter sideband, the 2-meter call frequency, and DStar. I have no capabilities of getting on DMR or Fusion or any of those other digital modes at this point in time. And I don't have a radio for HF at this time. So it's going to be just DStar and basically 2-meter at this point.
Okay, well, I enjoy watching your show here on YouTube, and nice to meet you out there. I'll turn back to you, K4TLC.
Copy that, Dion, K4TLC. I have my daughter running in here right now. She's going to put on her dress to get ready to go to sleep here. So thanks for getting back to me. This is Greg, K6EGG here to City of Chino.
Daddy.
All right, I'll say Sigma 3s, and I'll be on the side. K4TLC.
You want to say hi?
She's so precious, Greg.
Just at the store.
KE.
Thank you.
You want to say hi to Dion?
Yeah, Dion where?
Say hi, Dion. Look in the camera there. Go walk back a little bit further so they can see you. Actually, I could probably do this too.
Where?
Whoops. Right there. There you go. Say hi, Dion.
Hi, Dion.
Yep. Cool.
Daddy, I can't hear the TV.
I have it on mute right now.
Why?
Because.
Johnny, your hand's too far away.
My hand's too far away. What are you talking about?
It's too far. It's going to touch your computer.
I'm not gonna. I can't reach it. I can't reach it. Can you reach it?
And I'm so short.
You're too short. You don't look too short. How tall are you?
My sleeves are short.
Your sleeves are short. What about mine?
Yeah, Daddy.
Yeah.
Dad, don't worry. And Daddy and I gonna make it better.
Okay, thank you. Watch the cable there.
Daddy, please move it away. I stepped on it.
Yeah, well, I'm using it right now. I don't want to put it away.
Daddy, and I have pink headphones.
You do have pink headphones.
Daddy and Money, what's that pink headphone? What's that?
What? Stop. What?
Daddy, and I wear these big ones.
No, that's okay.
Why?
Because I'm using them right now.
Hi.
That was my daughter Haley. Thank you for watching. Sorry, got all kinds of distractions. 4-year-old coming in here. Love her to death. Thank you for watching here. K6EGG. That was Haley there. Maybe I'll get her on the ham radio one day. She's been on actually a couple times. And why I made the upset face, I watched the Dodgers give up a home run. Watching a Dodger game as well. Uh-oh. I hear Curtis out there. Curtis is...
Hey, Curtis, K6EGG here in the city of Chino.
I'm curious, did you watch William Shatner go up on Blue Origin, what was it, yesterday or the day before?
I did. I watched it live on TV. That's pretty cool stuff. He looks pretty good for 90 years old. Would you agree?
I do, yeah. I knew he was old. I thought he was in his 80s. I didn't know he was 90s. So he was probably the most excited of all the people that went on that. What was it, like 10-minute in space extravaganza? That was cool. It sounded like the re-entry where you have like I think what you said, like 5 Gs pushing you down in the seat when you're coming back in. That's probably the hardest stuff. That's cool. Also, I watched a series on Disney Plus called Amongst the Stars, which is about the space program for the last like 5 or 6 years. So I don't know if you've seen that, but it's really good.
I actually binge watched it last week. It was very good. I just wish they would have followed another, I don't know, maybe astronaut. Homeboy didn't have a lot of personality. He just kind of like, I don't know, kind of straight-laced. I mean, he was super smart. What was he, a Navy SEAL and stuff? Chris something or other? What was that his name?
Oh, yeah. Chris Cassidy, I think was his last name. Yeah, too bad they didn't have more of the SpaceX going up. That would have been... I'm sure they're probably doing that. They probably already did it. They're probably editing it right now to put on Disney Plus. But I thought that was interesting. That was pretty cool. Yeah, I know you're a space buff, so I thought I'd make sure that you've seen... of course, I know you don't miss that kind of stuff because anybody who wears a NASA hat is going to be on top of their game.
I try to be. Actually, I watched another one. I don't know if you have Netflix. There was one called, it was like Countdown the Inspiration 4. It's the guy that, a billionaire that bought 4 seats, and one for himself and 3 for others. He was like the guy that invented the slide card machine for the credit card. You know, when you go check in, when you go check out or whatever, a restaurant or buy something at a grocery store. He invented all that stuff, apparently. But he bought 4 seats for SpaceX, and they had a pretty cool, I think it was a 4-part mini series on Netflix. Countdown to Inspiration 4 it was called. And I don't know if I mentioned to you, but I had a buddy from high school, actually Victor Glover. He was up on the space station end of last year and beginning of this year. He was up there, and he wrote up SpaceX on the second launch of humans on it. So I haven't been. My Facebook got nuked, so I don't have a way to get a hold of him. But I did talk to him a little bit before he went up.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one yet. I'll look it up. I need something new to watch tonight, so I watched almost all those space stuff. And there's a lot more space stuff on Disney Plus if you want to watch all the way back to the beginning of sending the first man in space and all the way up to the moon and all that stuff. There's lots of it on Disney Plus, and I've pretty much watched them all. But I'll look up that one tonight. I'll look it up on Netflix because I need a new show to watch tonight. Anywho, just thought I'd jump in here and see if you had watched those, which I'm sure I knew you had, but I just wanted to make sure. Anyway, talk to you later, Greg. K6EGG streaming live, and this is AJ60, Apple Valley, Southern California, the high desert.
Curtis, I'm not letting you get away that easy. Do you have any other suggestions for Disney Plus? I've actually just got this last week. I changed over my phone service from AT&T to Verizon. I think I get it for free for like a year or whatever, 15 months or something weird number like that. But do you have anything extra, any suggestions in the space world that I should look for?
Well, if you like space-related stuff, there's The Mandalorian. I don't know if you watched that. That's pretty cool. It's a spin-off of Star Wars.
All right, I got that one in my queue there. Anything else, sir?
Well, Disney Plus has lots of stuff to do with Planet Earth and Animal Kingdom and all that kind of stuff. That's what I think they excel at, probably in the, I guess, with Disney Plus, you get National Geographic, so they make really good programs. I just finished watching a series called Strange Waters or Unknown Waters, something like that. It's about a fisherman who goes around different places in the world, and he tries to find the biggest fish to catch. And it's just not a fishing show. He also kind of explains the history of, when did these fish start showing up, like, for instance, in the Amazon River and stuff, and they try to trace them back. So it's kind of a scientific / fishing movie. And I'm not really, I like fishing. I've been fishing many times in my younger days, but I don't consider myself a fisherman at all. But it was interesting.
Cool deal. Thank you for the heads up. Yeah, I just was looking through Disney Plus, and I did notice now that I guess they have all the National Geographic stuff. I forgot they bought out Fox, which was all the National Geographic was Fox owned. So pretty good stuff. I appreciate that. And as you know, I'm a space nut, I guess you can say. So one of these days I'll be able to I want to catch a launch live in person out at Kennedy Space Center. I was going to go up last November to watch the guy from high school. I know from my high school days launch from Kennedy Space Center there, but it was the 1 week I was working last November, so I missed it. I appreciate you getting back to me. This is Greg, K6EGG, in the city of Chino, 40 miles east of Los Angeles, and also streaming live on YouTube if you type in my call letters into the search engine of YouTube there. Now back to you there, AJ60 out in Apple Valley, California.
Okay, Greg, yeah. I think it's called Unknown Waters. Unknown Waters is the name of the show, so it's pretty good. Of course, there's a lot of good things. I always look under the National Geographic title stuff because that interests me more than other stuff. So if you like anything to do with history, like I like to watch a lot of stuff about Egypt, about the pharaohs and them digging, finding all these mummies and stuff. That's kind of cool. That's interesting to me. So anyway, I'll jump out here, let 30 Charlie go, and hello Ray again. Enjoy your rest time. Talk to you later. K6EGG J60.
All right, for those of you watching on YouTube, where should I go next? Should I jump on Reflector 1? Kind of want to watch the baseball game too. Although, I was thinking I was tying up Reflector 30 along with Curtis, but there's nobody else talking really. So I guess, when someone starts talking, maybe it brings in people. I know on some local repeaters it was like, oh, we don't want you talking more than 15 minutes because it ties up the repeater. But then the repeater sits dormant like for 23 hours of the day.
K6EGG, this is KT6RA.
Go ahead,
KT6RA. This is Greg, K6EGG in the city of Chino, and also on YouTube if you type in my call letters, K6EGG in the search engine. Good evening.
Good evening, Greg. This is Raif from Santa Clara, Northern California. Pretty new to DStar. I looked at your YouTube page and was monitoring the conversation that you had with W4WMD. It was pretty instructive to see the rig out there. I had a question regarding one of the two field on the CQ. So I was trying to use the local one, and it did not go through. And then when I used reflector, that's when I was able to connect out. Could you tell me what happens when you use local reflector? Over.
The local CQ is mainly for, like, just say if you're talking into a local repeater. I don't know how you're getting into this reflector, so maybe you have to tell me after I finish. Basically, there's, let's say Curtis, for instance, I was just talking to, he's up in Apple Valley, and we talk on a local repeater to say Keller Peak that's in between us. And it was hooked into reflector 30. We can both click over to local CQ, and we would hear ourselves through the repeater, but we wouldn't be tying up to the reflector, and nobody on the reflector would be able to hear us, and we wouldn't be able to hear the reflector. So that's kind of what that local CQ is.
Nice. I had a repeater here that I hooked up to called the Bayonet, but then when I was using the local CQ, I was not able to get out. Only when I used the youth reflector, I was able to get out. So that's why I was wondering what that field was. And from the manuals, it seemed like they said use local, and so yeah, trying to figure out that. And having your YouTube channel out there and seeing the screen was really helpful.
Great, Ray, man. I'm glad that was able to help you with that. And that's kind of why I'm on YouTube, too, so you can figure that stuff out. Everybody can figure that out with me. Curtis, who I was talking to a few minutes ago, actually, he was one of the guys out there helping me my first nights connecting to local repeater that I was just talking about, Keller Peak. And I was stumbling madly through trying to get that thing to work, if he recalls. It was very frustrating, but I had a couple of people actually email me and say the same thing, that it helped them learn, how to do it. So I'm glad I was able to help. That's why I have it up. It's not for me. It's for everybody else. And if you can, don't forget to hit that subscribe if you haven't. I would really appreciate it. This is Greg, K6EGG, 40 miles east of Los Angeles. If I don't know if you're familiar with the city of Chino, I'm close to Ontario, California.
Greg, yes, I will do subscribe to it. And I just got this new rig, so I have to figure out all the nuts and pieces, the bits and pieces of it, and figure out how to operate efficiently. That's going to take a little while, I guess. But it'll be good if you, I saw your live feed, but I have to look at whether you have other things that you have put in there. It would be really instructive to have more material out there. Thanks a lot for doing that, and hopefully we'll keep in touch.
Excellent. I'll try to. I normally don't put out videos per se. I do sometimes. Mainly my stuff's kind of live, so you're watching me stumble through it in real time, which in some cases that might be a better way of learning because you're seeing me kind of troubleshoot my way through stuff. So I appreciate it, and I'll be fumbling around with some more stuff. I know the other night I was actually changing reflectors on repeaters the other night. So, and it was a learning experience for me as well. So thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. Now, are you on a 705? Is that what I'm seeing?
705.
Copy that. You sound really good. And what repeater are you connected to up in Santa Clara there? I used to spend some time up there for work.
Right now I'm using a hotspot, but the repeater is on a different reflector, and I didn't want to go through the thing of moving it off one reflector into another, and that's why I got a hotspot here.
Yeah, that's kind of why I got it as well. So I don't know how long you were listening, but I know some repeater owners don't like the change of the reflectors. I'm kind of lucky. One of the local guys here I've talked to that owns one of the reflectors that I've talked on, or repeaters I've talked on, he said he's totally cool with me changing it. But I kind of try to stay away from it. This gives me, my hotspot gives me free range. I can move whatever I want, whenever I want, and I don't have to worry about anything. So that's pretty cool. What kind of hotspot do you have?
This is the one from the HRO. It's DStar, running on Raspberry Pi with an LCD screen.
Would that be the Zoom Spot one with the colored LCD?
Yes, that's a Zoom Spot, yes.
One of the guys I know that I work with, or not work with, but I talked to with down here, AJ6BE, he actually just got one of those over the weekend and just got it set up. So I don't know how he feels about it yet, but I know he had some trouble. He didn't register his call sign into the DStar database, which actually on one of my YouTube live streams I did live because I didn't realize that I didn't have that done correctly. Some people weren't hearing me on stuff. So, yeah, that's a pretty good hotspot from what I hear.
The first nights were a little, I had long nights trying to figure out how to get out. And I was hearing people, but I couldn't get out. And then I tried the gateway CQ, and somebody was saying that, I connected to a gateway, and he was saying my CQ looked totally strange. But I got out, so I don't know exactly how to use the gateway CQ either. I have to figure that out.
Yeah, it could be kind of frustrating. You could feel like you're on your own island when you're trying to figure that stuff out. So that's another reason why I jumped on YouTube, because all of a sudden I had these people in the chat tell me, try this, try that, try this. A couple people emailing me and stuff like that, and eventually for me, my hotspot, I thought I did it, but I missed one tiny little space in one of my settings, and that's why it didn't work for like a week. So you just never know. I'm glad people are out there to help out a lot. So cool deal. It was great chat when you were there, Ray. This is Greg, K6EGG in the city of Chino.
Right. Yeah. The thing is, the information that's out there is all spread out. I had to look at tons of videos to sort of figure out things, and then read lots of stuff to figure out that if your call sign is smaller, then you have two spaces in between, and things like that. So it gets complex. I mean, pretty fast. So I think with your setup out there, it would be really good if you could have a small video that you make with that. Because live stream is good, definitely, but the thing is, to go over the whole entire live stream, it's good for live debugging, but then to go over for someone who is not getting on the air, he needs something to sort of initiate him in there. And that's where I think this would be really helpful to put in there.
Yeah, you brought up a very good point, and I was actually going to make that as kind of a different way about the DStar instructions. There's no like rule book of an instruction book what you need to do, in the order to make things work. And it is bits and pieces floating around in different areas, either on the internet, chat groups, or YouTube like here. So it can get a little frustrating. Like I saw setups for the hotspot, and it was like they would start in the middle of how they set it up. They didn't tell you how to get into it. Oh, once you sign into your Pi-Star, well, how did you sign into your Pi-Star? Like it took me like 20 minutes to figure out how to get in. It turned out it was just I had to look for the Wi-Fi called Pi-Star, and then add in my SSID and password. It's just like, I wish someone would have showed that. It took me 20 minutes to find a YouTube page that did that. So yeah, I understand. Yeah, the information spread out. I wish there was this one place that you can get all of it at once. I might make a video of that, but I'm not very proficient on DStar yet. I'm still asking a lot of questions and guys out there. So, but learning as much as you can is a good thing, and maybe you can help somebody else out there as well.
Yeah, the hard thing, the Pi-Star thing was sort of not too bad, but the thing was, I was getting confused with so initially, even the DStar registration, the DStar registration has to match like the B prefix and the different prefixes out there. Mine came in with Z for some reason, and I had to make sure that matched what I had. So things of that nature, small things, had to be taken care of before I could really get out. And that's why I said, if you have the setup to make a good video out there, I really appreciate you doing a small video out, so that people could see that, and it would be helpful.
Yeah, something they don't say, and I'll get on here, I don't know if you're watching, on the registration page, the night that I registered correctly. I'm trying to pull it up right now as I'm talking, so bear with me. So when you register, apparently the first time you register, you have to have your call letters kind of in a certain order. And then, you have to have your call letters and then a second line of call letters with like a space, and an uppercase letter to signify where you're at. And I still don't understand the whole philosophy behind this, but I'm gonna pull it up on my screen right here. I don't know if you're watching, but the first call letters I have, and maybe somebody can jump in that's on the reflector that's watching. I have my call letters, and then I left nothing, and then I have a second line, my call letters, and I put H, the prefix H, just because I'm home, I guess. That's why I picked it. I couldn't pick G or S because of the server and gateway and stuff like that. So that's something I didn't know. I thought I was registered correctly, but I needed to put another line in there, and no one told me why or why I needed to do it. So I don't know. I'm with you on that, pal. It's very confusing.
Don't you need to have that access point checked as well?
You don't have to register your access point, but you can. And yes, you do. If you do register it. I'm using my call sign as my registration, so I don't need it's passing through the information the way it should. So I shouldn't have to register my hotspot as far as I know.
I didn't know any better. I just marked that. I mean, the one that I was going through the hotspot as the access point, and did that. And that's so I see that you have when you connect, it says your K6EGG, right? So what's the B standing for there? I mean, I don't see that on your DStar registration.
Relates to the band that you're operating on, either 2 meter 440 or 220 or 1200. You have to have your DStar registration, and you have to register for at least one gateway. It's like you double register. That's what it does. That's what lets you get worldwide on the DStar reflector network.
Thanks a lot. So that means that so that is he has to be there, right? This is your PyStar configuration, correct? Now this does not have to correspond to the DStar registration of H. Does it have to, or it can be something different?
Okay, what you're talking about is your RPT1 and your RPT2. RPT2, the 8th character, will always have to be G, and that matches your hotspot. It'll automatically come up on any hotspot that you run. Where the other one is your RPT1, or the first place, you put your call sign and spaces or whatever you have, and the last letter. It doesn't matter what it is. You can go by the 2 meter 440 A, B, and C, or whatever. It doesn't matter. But what does matter, what you have on the radio in your DV memory, and you have on a hotspot or a repeater for that matter, they have to match. That's what will let you through into the gateway where you can transmit and receive it. Otherwise, if they do not match, you will not hear it or will not transmit.
Okay, got it. So that means that it has no relation to the letters on the DStar registration page.
Negative. It's just you have to register at least one. Like I said, it's like a double registration. You put your call sign in, they say okay, and you go back in and you register for one gateway call. It doesn't matter what you put in there, just put in the sign. You can put anything, like you said, anything but G or what the other one, S is, server. Any other letter will work. It doesn't matter, except it can't be the, it can't be one of those two. But that's what lets you in. W9DSW.
Then, yeah, that was really helpful. Yeah, I was getting confused with all those and trying to get out. So, yep, good to understand that clearly.
Now, there is two other things that you need to be aware of. On your hotspots, especially the PyStar software, your wireless SSID and your password needs to be letters and numbers only, no special characters. And when you set your radio up, excuse me, when you set the radio up in your DV memory, if you can use an offset on the configuration page in PyStar or the others, it doesn't matter. You don't have to run a negative and positive offset. You can run both of them simplex, except for a duplex hotspot. You have to separate it. But anyway, when you set your radio up in your DV memory, you have to, all the names have to coincide.
This is good information.
What you name the hotspot. You don't have to name it just has to be one, but the letters have to match. And when you have to say use to and from has to be yes, And if there's two frequencies you transmit, you can receive or transmit. You can't do both at the same time. So you can have it a simplex node or a simplex repeater, like your own personal repeater for DStar. But what you do is you set the offset to negative or positive. It makes no difference, but you set it.
Yeah, so, yeah, that was, I think one of the videos I looked up, it showed me that thing. And the other thing also which is helpful is that I went in and created this hotspot by editing there, and that was why I sort of stumbled upon by looking at another video that was there, which somebody was doing a clone through the software, and he was went in and I could edit that, so that's sort of helpful.
Roger that. Okay, if you have any other questions, I'll be around for a little bit. W9DSW. Dan on this end. I'll be back to monitoring. Thanks for letting me jump in there, guys. Didn't mean to interrupt, but thought I'd give you some help.
No, you're not interrupting at all. You've said some very useful information for both of us and people watching on YouTube as well. I appreciate it there, Dan.
Excellent, Dan.
KT6RA.
Just another little bit of info. If you do run into jumbo spot, hotspot, I don't care what it is. If it's running PyStar, update it often, maybe once a week or so. And when you make changes, give it a little time to fully reboot and come back up. Sometimes it doesn't do it automatically real quick. It has to wait a second. That's just the nature of the beast.
I also read somewhere that if you power down the system, not through the control panel, then sometimes the SD card gets corrupted or something gets corrupted. But I mean, is that a practice that you have to be careful about?
No, it's no big problem. It's just it takes something. If you do a full hard reboot, or it gets plugged, the power goes off, makes no difference. You have to give it time for everything to sync back up with the hotspot and the DStar network, basically.
Got it. Roger.
KT6RA.
If you'll notice, if you have your radio on, and you unplug or replug or restart or reboot or change, or say unlink and then relink, you'll hear it come on there. It'll tell you link 2. That's the system linking, saying it's connecting, it's making the handshake with the DStar network.
Yeah, got that. Thanks, Dan. For KT6RA.
Very useful information, Dan. Really appreciate it once again there. Very big learning experience for a lot of people out here, because it's just like I said and Ray said, there's no real directions in one place. Just mainly a lot of people helping a lot of other people. So thanks again.
Copy that. DStar is, it's not all that difficult. It's not all that easy. It's easier than DMR, and then the Fusion Wires X is even easier. All you need is a call sign. So.
Yeah, this will be a question for another day. So, what's a good mobile HF antenna to get to use with the 705?
Anybody new to the channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below, and much appreciate it. What happened here?
KT6RAW9 DSW, did I lose you?
KT6RA. No, I could hear you, but in between, I think we are not getting K6EGG on here.
Copy. You asked a question. Did you say an antenna? I heard antenna. That's about all I got. What was you recommend? What was you wanting some information on? Recommendation for an antenna for UHF, VHF, or HF, mobile or base?
HF mobile. That's what I was looking for. With the 705.
I can't really answer that question. I don't have a 705. All my stuff is higher power than that. You might ask some other operators who are around it what purpose you're going to be using it for to get a little better information. But sorry, I can't help you on that one.
No worries, Dan. Yeah, I wanted to get something that I can get out there. Probably in the future, I'd want to get something more as a base station and have, more power. But I felt that if I get a base station, then I'll probably be stuck out and not really use it as much. So having the flexibility to move around was what I was looking for.
I don't know if you know this or not. I don't know how you're getting in, whether you're getting in a repeater, but that 705, it has terminal mode and access point node with the proper cable. And if you get a little Raspberry Pi, you can do it direct, which is terminal mode. Or if you have another DStar radio, you can use it as an access point and access it with another DStar radio, just for tip. W9 DSW.
Yeah, I heard some discussion on that earlier on about the terminal mode. I haven't investigated that yet. I did this on Monday, this radio, so it's too early for me to figure out more.
Copy that. Yeah, I run this. I actually have 5 DStar radios, but I run the 41. I'm on the 4100 in terminal mode. It's just going directly into the internet to the DStar reflector with a little Raspberry Pi Zero, and no RF, just directly into it. And it works very well.
So the Raspberry Pi is a different one than the DStar hotspot that we're referring to, or is it the same thing?
Basically, with the RP, or I can't remember the name of the cable now, UPC 2350LU from Icom, you have to have that particular cable. With that cable, basically you don't use the hat. You just use a Raspberry Pi Zero W, and you plug it in. You're right on DStar. You don't have to have it. You do not have to have the top part of the Raspberry Pi or the jumbo spot zoom spot, whatever the case may be. There's no MMDVM board attached to it.
So the antenna is basically, yeah, it's not going over RF, so you can directly connect. Okay, got that. Lots of learning today. Thanks a lot, Greg and Dan, for the time that you spent here. Appreciate that very much.
Roger, roger. Have a good day. 73 W9DSW. Back to monitoring.
Copy that there, Ray. I'm glad that there's people out there that are willing to help you out there. This is all amateur, so we're all kind of helping everybody, and it's all learning experience. Nobody's a pro out here. So this is Greg, K6EGG. I'm going to be monitoring, and I'm also on YouTube. If you type in my call letters into the YouTube search engine, K6EGG. Have a good evening there, Ray.
K6EGG and W9DSW. Thanks a lot for your help. I'll also be monitoring here, standing by. 73 to both of you.
And I'm going to be watching some Dodger baseball.
You know what? One of the really strange things that I can't figure out is, DStar is a pretty sophisticated system. And I used to do a lot of computer programming many years ago. And one of the first things you learn is when you're looking for a certain amount of characters and spaces or numbers, and you had to have a certain amount of spaces in between, characters or anything, that it's very easy to program that once you get a string of characters like somebody's call sign, and then you come to the first space, and then maybe the next character is either a B or A or C, and then repeater 2 would be like a G for gateway. It's so easy to program that the software would be able to add the exact amount of spaces between the call sign and the 8th position without having somebody that hit spacebar, and count them.
Yes.
To make sure I get to the 8th position. I don't know why somebody has it and just made it so much easier for especially new users to kind of figure out.
Copy. Well, the only really one that you have to put the spaces in is where like I said, it doesn't really matter which one you use, any of the letters except the G or server number. You can't G or S or whatever won't work. I can't remember. I know G won't, but it doesn't really matter as long as the hotspot and or repeater, if it's a repeater you're trying to access, but the radio and the hotspot, they both have to match. You can put any letter in there except the 2, but when you do that, you'll notice you don't put the G in. The G is automatically put there. There's nothing to change where the G is at. As soon as you put your call sign, the G pops up.
Okay, yeah, I'm thinking of Greg and me and all the new users that, unless they've really had detailed information about, you got to make sure the 8th character is a certain character, that the software or the program you use, or there's software somewhere running this stuff, the reflector, that the programmer should have had foresight to see if you need the last character to be in the 8th position. It's really easy for a software programmer to either add or take away spaces so that it's always at the 8th position type of thing, instead of leaving it to the end user that makes sure. So my call sign is AJ604567. Then I put the character, and if I don't put it in the right spot, it ain't going to work. There's something that I don't understand why they didn't kind of fix that in software. Oh well, I guess that's I don't know. There's probably a reason. I just don't know that reason. AJ60.
Oh, believe me, I know what you're talking about. I just I switched one of my I switched one of my DStars over to access point from terminal mode, and used my HT when I was out on the yard, out on the porch, and it wasn't working. Couldn't figure out why. Well, I had everything correct except the radio and the hotspot, or the Pi-Star setup. The letters was wrong. One of them was B, the other was H. Oops, made a mistake.
So you seem like you know quite a bit about DStar. I'm relatively new. I'm using an OpenSpot 2, which it streams a web page. All I have to put in is the IP address, and so I can switch reflectors. Really, really super easy. Or I've learned just recently, because I watched Greg stumbling through it from his stream, how to use the DR mode with a hotspot. So I figured it out. So now I'm good to go. I can either use the software on my laptop to change reflectors, or I can use the DR mode. So in your opinion, are there any drawbacks of using terminal mode over the other two means of accessing your hotspot? Over? Or just the DStar network?
No, not really. Using terminal mode, like I said, in terminal mode, because there's two. There's terminal mode and access point mode, both. And they just mean that. Terminal mode, you just run it like a terminal, like a computer terminal. You are using the radio, you're using the speaker, the power, and the microphone, but there's no RF coming out of the back. And then with access point mode, the radio acts as a mini simplex, your own personal mini simplex repeater. Obviously, if there's a signal coming through the DStar network on the reflector that you're on, it's going to be transmitting that out, okay, to an HT, a mobile, or whatever else you have. And if you're transmitting into it, then it's receiving. So there's a slight advantage to that. Like I said, it was on there, and I was sitting on the porch, and I was listening to 30 Charlie, or 1 Charlie, I can't remember down. But there's not really a disadvantage or advantage. It's just a feature that's available. It's kind of nice. I like it. That way if you want to talk on it, you don't have to have RF. I've got mine on a dummy load. But
Okay, yeah, I watched a couple of YouTube videos with some people showing this is how you do terminal mode on the Icom 9700, which is what I'm using. Okay, I'm good to go. I can do this. I got somebody right in front of me showing me how to do it, and it still looks complicated. I mean, it looks harder than using either DR or using the software that came with your hotspot. But that's because there are some things I still don't quite understand. I'm sure if I play with it enough times, I'll figure it out. But then, I don't need to know 3 different ways to access DStar. I mean, I can just use one and I'm happy. But now I know 2, so I'm a little bit more dangerous. Anyway, thanks. I think your name's Ray. Thanks for the information. AJ60.
ZL1DAM.
Sounds like we have somebody from New Zealand in there.
Just testing in Hamilton.
We hear you in there. This is Greg, K6EGG in Southern California, about 40 miles away from Los Angeles.
There is another mode, but it's Icom's. You use Icom software, knowledge station to come in there. But you can't. You use the same cable, but you got to use an Android phone, and you cannot access reflectors. I think you can use XLX reflectors or something, or I can't remember now. It's a limited way, and you use call sign routing. So, but the way I talked about, and the way that with the Raspberry Pi only, no hat, is a lot better way, I think. W9DSW. Go ahead, station.
I think it was Greg. Sorry, I'm just on my little hand. I was just monitoring.
ZL1
on DStar, and I realized it was DStar. Very good. Uniform Charlie Echo Bridge 30H Hamilton, New Zealand. Over.
Station calling from New Zealand. You were breaking up and intermittent there real bad. I caught maybe 2 or 3 words.
Station from New Zealand, are you still there? This is Greg, K6EGG.
Well, this got quiet all of a sudden. Thank you all for watching here. Jump in the chat. Tell us where you're from. Right now, I'm on Reflector 30 Charlie, just kind of listening in. They were talking about different DStar setups to go through hotspots, terminal mode, other modes of getting into the DStar network. Then somebody from New Zealand popped through, and it got quiet.
AJ60, you still there? This is Greg, K6EGG.
What is this call sign routing? That is on the PyStar configuration page.
K6EGG.
Yes, I am still here, Greg.
You got quiet all of a sudden. I just wondered if anybody left, and I also heard Ray back in there. Go ahead, KT6RA. I think you had a question out there, and I kind of keyed with you.
Yeah, my question was, what is call sign routing on the PyStar admin page? Do you know what happens if you leave it off or leave it on? What does it do?
Dan, if Dan's still there, I'd probably direct that question to Dan. I'm not too familiar with that. I haven't gone down that rabbit hole yet.
W0COX.
W9DSW. Dan, you still on board there? Curtis, do you have any info on that call routing? I remember Fred was messing with it, K6OS, but I don't know much about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's fine. I was just trying to see. I think Dan mentioned something like that. So I turned on and off. I tried different things. So I wasn't sure what worked. So yeah, just trying to find out what each thing was. So yeah, we'll find out another day.
I think that when you use it DR mode, you push the DR button, hold it in for a second or whatever, like you have on your, right now on your streaming where it says 2, if you put somebody's call sign in there that you want to know, where they're located at, then it's supposed to, the DStar system knows the last place that call sign was used, and it's supposed to reroute you to that person or to the reflector, the last one they used. Now, I know some repeaters do not have the right software to do call sign routing, and some do and some don't, so it doesn't work all the time, but I know I've used it a few times to talk to a couple of friends of mine down the hill, and it does work. I mean, it does work, but I don't think a lot of people use it very often. So at least that's my limited knowledge of it. So I don't use it very often, but I know it works.
Okay. So I think what it means is that if your hotspot is public and someone can connect to it, then the feature of call sign routing is enabled with your hotspot. Is that a correct understanding?
You know what? I think you have to go through, or I'm not for sure. I guess Dave would probably know for sure. I think you have to be going through a repeater that has that software enabled for it to work. I don't think you can do it through a hotspot. I haven't tried it through my hotspot. I don't think it'll do it, but I haven't tried it.
Yeah, we learn every day, so at least good to understand sort of the basics of what it's trying to do. So then we can sort of figure out, once we read more, it sort of all clicks in together.
I know on the Icom radio, there is a button that if I push it and I'm looking for somebody, a particular call sign, that when if they have their radio turned on, it will ring like a telephone call to let them know that somebody's trying to get a hold of them. I know that works. It can be quite annoying, though, at times. I had Fred, KN6OS, he did that quite a bit to me, and I'm not even, I had my radio on, but I wasn't listening to it, and all of a sudden my radio was making all this ringing noise like a telephone, which lets you know that somebody is trying to get a hold of you. Which, I mean, I can see that, like in an emergency or something that would work, but I can also see that that can be really annoying after a while.
Yeah, true. I think there's also a mode called emergency that even and you can say that you can even specify what the AF gain should be on that, and it can blast it over even if you're kept it the volume is low, but to be used for. And also the thing is, once you power the set, the emergency mode will go off to the default setting.
Yeah, I think that's probably a pretty cool feature to be able to do that. I can see how people can kind of overuse it because, yes, I've had people call me and my radio started ringing and it was really loud and I couldn't turn it down. The volume knob doesn't turn it down. It keeps it going. So I try not to tell anybody that feature or how to use it because I can see how it can really get out of hand. AJ60.
K9WLW with comment.
Yeah, go ahead, comment.
AJ60.
Yeah, you were talking about the call sign routing feature. If you configure a Raspberry Pi, you have to make additional settings on it. You have to turn the call sign routing feature on a Raspberry Pi. You also have to either have UP&P on your home internet, or you have to open up the appropriate DStar ports. But if you do all of the above, you can use a Raspberry Pi hotspot to call sign route both inbound and outbound if it's on home internet. It won't work on mobile internet because the port forwarding won't work. But on home internet, you can configure it with a Raspberry Pi hotspot.
Nice. That's good to know. K9WLW. Thanks for chiming in on that.
And K9WLW, I've actually watched your YouTube page. I'm actually on YouTube right now, live streaming. I watched it last week, programming the DStar near, I think it was at an HT or something like that.
Oh, I haven't done DStar video in a while. I've been doing some PiStar cross modes in recent days, but I'm trying to think of the last DStar one I did.
It might have been from a while ago. I'm going to look it up actually right now. It was 10 months ago. Actually, it was the open spot that I looked at.
Okay, I've done a number of DStar and OpenSpot ones together. I can't think of what one it would be because I've done several.
Turn your PiStar hotspot into a DStar repeater. That's what I have up right now. And we're also live on YouTube, just to let you know, on my YouTube page. Greg K6EGG here.
Okay, Greg. Well, I'll back out. There was two other gentlemen that were holding the QSO. I just wanted to comment about the call sign routing, and I didn't mean to interrupt their QSO beyond that.
No, you weren't. We were all talking here, so any information interjected is always good. I'm sure Ray would agree with that. So I'm just going to take a listen and watch the end of this Dodger game here. This is Greg, K6EGG, also on YouTube with my caller. There's K6EGG. If you type it in the search engine there, I'll be back in a few, but I'm going to be monitoring as well.
K9WLW, appreciate you jumping in and explaining things. I'll be on the side as well. KT6RE.
Oh, no problem at all. No problem at all. Oh, wow, I do see K6EGG's live feed here on YouTube. Hey, there you are. There's a few seconds delay, but I can see, all right. Now I'm seeing my scroll of my name in Tampa, Florida going across the screen. It must be a 9700, or is it a 705?
I'm on a 9700 right now.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you can. I did for yours actually when I watched your video. I think it was last week. Actually, I didn't. Maybe I did on my other account.
Well, that's pretty cool how you have that camera set up on the face of the radio. Look at that. I'm 20 over S9. Such a high-powered 100 milliwatt signal out of this ID31.
Yeah, getting some Trapo as well, all the way across the Gulf of Mexico into Southern California.
Oh, I was thinking it was moonbound.
K9WLW.
Oh, I apologize for shortchanging your signal there.
Boy, I really like that display on the 9700. That's really an awesome display. Ah, there I am on the GPS coordinates. I'm, 2,108 miles to your east.
Yeah, that's pretty good for 20 milliwatts.
Well, supposedly this little handheld will only go down to 100 milliwatts. But let's see, the Raspberry Pi is running about 10.
Which Raspberry Pi are you using? Are you using the like OpenSpot or whatever?
Well, I have an OpenSpot 2 and I have an OpenSpot 3. I got them on standby right now. I'm not even monitoring them for the time being. But the Raspberry Pi type hotspot I have is a Raspberry Pi 3B. It was actually made by a guy that used to live in San Diego. I think he called it NextGen, NEXGEN. And he kind of went out of business. But I take it the Dodgers must have scored. I just saw you celebrating. You guys will win that series if you win this game. It's all evened up. It's a nice hotspot. It was called the Commander Spot. Commander Spot AEL3 or something like that. It's a pretty cool hotspot. I got it about 2.5 years ago.
I think I remember reading a review on that one. I remember being in California. There was another one in Vegas, but I think that might just be like an all-star hotspot. I can't remember, though.
Well, the guy made good hotspots. They were pretty nice, and he would pre-configure them for people so they could just plug and play to even put the Wi-Fi in if you wanted. But the problem was he moved from San Diego to supposedly to Las Vegas, and he never got the business up and running, and then he took a bunch of orders from people for hotspots, and then he never refunded them, and then he dropped off the radar, and some of the people are still trying to get their money back through PayPal.
Okay, that was the same guy I was thinking of. That sounds familiar. I remember reading about that in, I think, eham.com.
Yeah, I really liked the guy. I mean, I liked his hotspots. He had a whole assortment of them, and then he stiffed everybody. I bought one like in November of maybe 2019, and by the spring of 2020, he was starting to disappear. Kept saying he was in the process of moving, and he's off the grid, and all this weird stuff on the Facebook group that he had. And then he just disappeared, and every so many months he's like, oh, I'm almost up and running. You know, give me a few more months or weeks, and I'll have everything up and running. And then he disappears for 2 or 3 months, and people are just grumbling in the Facebook group. Nobody ever took the group down, though. That was weird.
He had a website and a whole 9 yards, if I recall right. Was that the same guy?
Yeah, I think the website is, you're up by a run. You're what, the visiting team, top of the, one out in first and third. My goodness. You might be able to really lock this one up. I think you still got it. Let me see if it's still there. Oh gosh, is it Next Gen or NEXT? I wish I could remember his website.
And anybody new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
NEXGE, yeah. It's hamradio1.com, hamradio1.com. And he's still got the website up and running, so I can't figure out what's going on. And you can't order, he doesn't respond to anything, and everyone's mad at him, and this website's up, the Facebook group is still up. It's really weird.
Yep, that's the guy. I remember going to this page. Yep, that is the guy. I have it up on my YouTube as well.
Yeah, I ordered the Commander Spot 3 AEO. Because I think the one that was popular was called the Rugged Spot. I think the Rugged Spot was, I'm trying to remember if that was a 3B. Let me look at I think the Rugged Spot might have been a 3B. And he sold those for like $250. So the cases, he may put them in really nice. Yeah, even the Rugged Spot used a 3B. It had a much smaller display. But, I mean, he engraved your call sign in the big Commander Spot, and it had a blue LED light. It lights up the room. So, like, my call sign's in blue lighting, and it lights up the room when you turn the lights out.
And I think you doubled with somebody there, VE6DZ. I think if you're still listening, go ahead. Maybe not. It came across my dashboard, so I thought maybe, I don't know. My bad.
Yeah, I was hoping the guy would stay in business. I mean, I liked his product line.
Is that the same guy who makes the nano spot and the micro spot?
No, I'm not even sure who makes those. No, this was a guy at a company, small little company he called NextGen, NEX-GEN Custom Hotspots, and his website is Ham Radio, no spaces, hamradio1, the number 1.com.
Okay, I'll have to look that up. Yeah, there's another guy who was, I think he was in Las Vegas, and he sells a micro node and a nano node, and he's been making them for a long time, and they're not exactly cheap, but it looks like they're really super made well. I almost bought one of them, but I didn't. Oh well. But it looks like the guy who makes the micro node and the nano node, he's still in business.
Yeah, I think the nano spot is out of production and may have gone under or something. Yeah, because that goes back a few years. I haven't heard it mentioned in a couple, 3 years now. So I don't think they're being made anymore. No, you said nano node was another one?
Yeah, it's called the nano node and the micro node, and I think he is based out of Las Vegas. I'm wondering, does the Raspberry Pi, do any of them do All-Star?
VA3XCT.
I've heard that it can do it if you configure it certain ways. I just don't know how.
Okay, yeah, I have a All-Star node number, but I don't have the actual hardware to access it. Sound like a pretty cool mode. I don't IRLP is cool too, but they're really super picky about what you can do, what you cannot do. All-Star, I guess,
bringing out Max
into
Scherzer
IRLP
as a closer.
But I got my hands full now with DStar and C4 and DMR.
Yeah, I haven't really run across any commercially made all-star node hotspots, if you will, that are really. I mean, they're all like $300, $400, $500. The ones that I've come across online, which is kind of pricey, and all it does is FM. You know, you can set a CTCS test tone or whatever for access, which is cool, but. I mean, they're a cool concept, but again, with the digital mode, I like the digital modes now because you can send your GPS coordinates and messages and stuff like that, and plus you get call signs every time somebody keys up, so that kind of comes in handy too. So, but All-Star is kind of a cool concept because it's kind of like VoIP with it's really weird when three people key up at the same time. You can hear all three of them if you're, listening. It's kind of weird how it does that.
Yeah, let's see. Does any of the... I'm clicking on my OpenSpot 2 software. I'm wondering, are there any... reflectors, XRF, XLX, reflectors that will cross bridge from DStar to All-Star. Do you know?
I believe there are a number of them. I just don't recall which ones they are. And I kind of avoid them because if you are on a digital mode and you're hearing somebody that's in an analog mode that's transcoded, all the analog stations show up as the same call sign, you know, of whoever's routing the traffic through. And the audio quality of the analog signal being transcoded over to digital is kind of an annoying sound. I kind of like to keep the digital and analog world separate, but that's just a personal preference. And I know a lot of people like to bridge all worlds together, and I get that. But there's a number of DMR talk groups that have analog links to All-Star. And when I hear the analog stations keying up, it's like fingernails on a chalkboard to me with the audio.
Yeah, I just recently bought some headphones with a microphone, and I downloaded Echo Link. I actually got it to work. I mean, it's kind of cool, but the voice quality is really bad. You can always tell somebody who's on an Echo Link going through, we have a really popular repeater in California called the Catalina Island Repeater, which is about 30 miles off the coast of Southern California, and they have an Echo Link place where people can get in on Echo Link and use the repeater, and you can always tell that they're using Echo Link. I mean, you can understand what they're saying, and it's okay, but the voice quality is not good at all.
Well, I like analog on analog systems. I mean, again, when you're just going analog to analog, I think it sounds pretty nice, actually. But when you're using a digital mode, it's best that it comes out at either the same or a different digital mode. But whenever you do that analog to digital or digital to analog, it just gets kind of weird sounding. Every time I hear analog stations coming into a digital group, I'm like, I can tell right away that they're analog because of it's just the sound quality is just weird in the transcoding. I don't quite understand the technical aspects of it, but it has a very weird sound. Digital to digital has a little bit of a robotic sound, but it's very slight. And after you listen to it for a while, your ear kind of gets used to it. And then if I go to an analog repeater and hear an analog station, it's like sound shock at first, but then I get used to that real quick. It's just got a different shrillness to it that you don't get on the digital modes. Yeah, converted to analog to digital, though, I don't know, it does not sound good to me at all.
AJ60, Southern California. Yeah, very good there, Frank. I think that's your name. Pretty sure. To me, I like the digital modes. It doesn't bother me. I know getting the right mic gain into the radio is actually key to making it sound the best it can. So I try to listen to my signal on Greg's YouTube channel so I can tell if I need to turn my mic a little bit down, because I am using an Electro Voice RE320. Let's see, what else I was going to say? But I find that digital modes is absolutely fantastic, especially if you're traveling in a car and you got a lot of road noise. I think the frequency, how it comes out the speaker, it is much better for listening and talking simplex or through a repeater on digital than analog. At least to me, that is.
Yeah, again, the recreation of the digital signal into audio is kind of, the technology involved with that is so bizarre. Now, what's stunning is technically digital audio can sound cleaner and better than analog ever can. The problem is if you want to call it a problem, is in the amateur radio spectrum where we're using digital voice, we're using very narrow band digital modes. Like DStar is only supposedly about 6.25 kilohertz wide, whereas a standard FM signal for 2 meters or 70 centimeters is like about 25 kilohertz. So you're talking about 1/4 the bandwidth of a standard FM analog signal. And again, it's great for not using up a lot of spectrum space. But because we use such a limited spectrum space, the bits per second or whatever is very limited. Now, if you were to go to, say, digital TV broadcast or even digital FM, HD, FM, they have a way faster bit rate, so you don't get that digital artifact sound thing going on. It sounds really rich and crisp. Like I have HD in my car stereo, and when I get the local stations in HD, they sound better in the HD than they do in the analog stereo. But they're, of course, using a much wider bandwidth and a lot more bits per second than we do on DStar or Fusion or DMR.
I'm curious because I just about a month ago I bought a DAC, digital analog converter, and I got it hooked up to my TV. And it feeds from my TV with a fiber optic cable, goes into the DAC, and then out of the DAC it goes into a preamp, then it goes into a sound bar I have. I haven't looked, but I don't know. It'd be nice if there was a way.
Sorry, I'm watching a
to tap
Dodger game
into
too.
The digital signal.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe
Icom
button.
9700. I know you can get the audio to come out of the USB jack in the back, but I don't think that comes out just strictly digital. It's probably analog. So it is beyond me. I'm not technical enough to be able to, if I ever wanted to try to tap into the digital signal, that would probably be way above my head. It's just something I'm thinking about. I don't know if a better DAC would make it sound better, or it probably not.
I don't know that you can do much with 6.25 kilohertz of bandwidth. I mean, I think it's about as good as you can get with this bandwidth. It's good enough for voice. Now, again, at the risk of sounding, like a bad amateur, if you were to play music on DStar or C4FM or on DMR, it would sound horrible. It would literally sound horrible. Again, we're used to voice. But the moment, and again, I don't recommend you trying it because it's highly illegal. But I'm telling you, if you were to transmit music on DStar and listen to it on digital on another radio, it would sound like horribly bad. Now that said, if you have an FM radio station that has an HD signal, bear in mind an FM radio station has about 200 kilohertz of signal bandwidth to work with, whereas we have 6.25 kilohertz on DStar. On C4FM we've got 12.5, DMR we've got 12.5 kilohertz. So we're talking, over 20 to 30 times the bandwidth of an FM broadcast FM signal. So you have a lot more bandwidth in order to handle the bits per second at a much faster speed to make it really, really super clean.
Copy that. K9WLW. This is AJ60. Curtis in Apple Valley in Southern California, in the high desert where Roy Rogers and Dale Evans used to live many years ago. And then I am about 42 or 42 miles from Greg, who's live streaming on YouTube. Anyway, Frank, well, nice talking to you there, my friend. I'm going to take a standby here and let somebody else have some fun on DStar tonight. AJ60, I'll be taking a standby.
Oh, no problem. Appreciate the shout and the QSO. So 73 to you, AJ60 from K9WLW standing by.
This is Greg, K6EGG, and also live streaming right now. If you type in my call letters into the search engine of YouTube, K6EGG. And watching a Dodger game. They won on a really bad call, but I'll take it. We had a couple guys, Tony and Denny, that live here locally in Southern California. They're trying to figure out how to get on our reflector here. So hopefully they can hook up with us here shortly.
Well, it sounds like you guys won by the hair of your chinny chin chin, 3-2 with a 1-run victory in Game 5. So I guess you can now wait and comfortably until Saturday when you host the Atlanta Braves.
Oh, I'll be watching. I don't know if you watched the last pitch. They gave him a strike. It was like clearly a ball. And that ended the game, which I'm a huge Dodger fan, but I don't like to see him win like that. That was a bad call.
Well, yeah, I kind of got sportsed out. I watched the Buccaneers play the Philadelphia Eagles just a little earlier. So, and my team's the Cleveland Indians, and they didn't even make the playoffs. So I kind of casually follow baseball online rather than watch it since my team's out of it.
And I don't even think they're the Cleveland Indians anymore. They're the Cleveland Ball Club or something like that now, right?
Officially, this coming season, they're going to be known as the Cleveland Guardians.
Oh boy, I like the Indians. I don't know, they're a historic franchise there, so that bums me out. But I'm glad to see my Dodgers moving on. I have a pretty good chance of beating the Atlanta Braves there on Saturday. I wish I was able to work these games. I normally work baseball playoffs for this network that the game's on tonight, and I've been kind of out on medical leave, really light duty, so I'm kind of bummed I'm not part of the crew with those guys right now.
Yeah, I didn't think the Dodgers had enough gas in the tank to take out the Giants, but they were only one game behind him in the standings at the season's end, so they were neck and neck. So I would say they were fairly equally matched teams overall. It went down that way all season, and it went down that way in their series.
Yeah, I'm surprised they got past St. Louis. Usually that's a thorn in their side in October, and they passed them fairly easily, if I recall right. We'll see. If they can make it past the Braves, they might be able to go all the way. Well, I'm very shocked they got past the Giants, though, because they were kind of a thorn in the side. That's why they're down a game, because of the series they had with them.
What was their record against the Giants out of the 19 games they played in the regular season?
I'll have to look, but I know they won most of the games, if I recall right.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. No, I do love the way they schedule baseball. Again, everybody has a 162 game season. Everybody has a division with five 5 teams in it, so you have 4 divisional foes, if you will, and you get to play each and every one of your divisional foes 19 times. Well, 19 times 4 teams is 76, so that means 76 out of your 162 games are divisional games. I like that. I wish football was that heavy on your division.
I'm trying to figure out the season series. It looked like the Giants had it. I know they like swept them the last series. I'm just trying to figure out the actual number.
Yeah, you'll have had 3 home stands against the Giants, and you would have had 3 road stands, if you want to call it that. And one year you'll have 10 at home, 9 away. The next year you'll have 9 at home, 10 away, kind of in alternating years. And then when you play the other National League teams, you play 1 series away, 1 series at home. And I'm trying to remember the number. I think 7 out of the 10 teams you play 7 games. And 3 of the 10 teams you only play 6 games. So you have like a 4-game. One of your series will be 4 games with the other 7 out of 10 teams, and then the other one will be 3, and then the other 3 remaining teams you play 3 and 3. And then you have, I think, 20, I believe there's 20 games where you play in the opposite league.
So they took 13 out of 20, or 13 out of 19 games the Giants did from the Dodgers in the regular season.
Wow, that's 13 and 6. That's over 667 ball. Yeah, I would put that on borderline domination. So this would have been sweet revenge. But again, having the best record, I can't tell you how many times in baseball and in football, a team that has the number 1 seed, top record, home field advantage, the whole 9 yards, where they stack the deck for that team. I cannot tell you how many times they blew it. Look at the Tampa Bay Rays. They blew it in their first round, and they had the best American League record. They were the number 1 seed, and out. They got knocked out in like 4 games by the Red Sox, who was a wild card team. So I like the wild card because even though you come in at a disadvantage, they do surprise a lot. And come to think of it, our Tampa Bay Buccaneers didn't win the division last year. They were a wild card, and they won the Super Bowl.
I wonder if Dodgers had the home field. They had a better record than the Braves, I think.
Yeah, games 1, 2, 6, and 7, if necessary, will be played in Los Angeles. Games, I think, let me double check that. I'm trying to remember if baseball ever changed that. Yeah, now that we're in the championship series, let's see, game 1. Oh, wait a minute. No, game 1 you play at the Braves. You do not get you had the better record, but because you were a wild card, you get treated as the low dog. Yeah, so game 1 is in Atlanta. Game 2 on Sunday in Atlanta. Game 3 is Tuesday in Los Angeles. Game 4 is Wednesday in Los Angeles. Game 5, if necessary, is in Los Angeles. Then games 6 and 7 would be scheduled for Saturday the 23rd and Sunday the 24th, if necessary. And those final 2 games, if you go to 6 and 7, will be Atlanta.
I miss working baseball playoffs. This is actually my second time I missed baseball playoffs since 1999. Actually, 98, I think. I took off a year for my daughter being born. She actually was born on Game 1 of the Dodgers series in 2017. And this year was not able to work. I was supposed to work the Milwaukee Brewers Atlanta series. I wasn't supposed to go on to the NLDS, so...
Well, I'm sure that would have to be a disappointment. Sorry that you had to miss out on it again this year due to medical. But, yeah, the Dodgers have had a good run these last few years. I think this was the first time a non-Dodger team has won your division in quite a few years, because the Dodgers had quite a run going.
Yes, they have. Trying to bring up some pictures on YouTube, too. We worked in playoffs in the years past. We had Nationals Park when I was out there in 2019.
And let's see, we had another wild card team make it this year. The Red Sox are in the ALCS against the Astros. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think the Dodgers can take the Braves, but baseball's weird. Oftentimes, the team with a better record can't seem to pull it off in the playoffs, so you never know.
Yeah, whoever's hot usually is going to win. And I think right now the Dodgers are hot. They played some pretty pivotal games. They play like crap on the road. They play a little better at home. So we'll see. But they're hot. They got it in their head now. And as a baseball fan, I'm not counting last year's win for the Dodgers in the World Series. A 62 game season is just not a real season to me with all the COVID crap, and they didn't pay the East Coast team. So at least that's my personal opinion.
Yeah, the only league that seemed to keep it together for the 2020 season was the NFL. They did get their 16-game schedule in, and it wasn't easy because there were a number of teams that had to reschedule due to too many players having COVID and whatnot. But this year, I'm thinking it's going to go pretty smoothly. I'm thinking COVID is kind of getting under control because, again, a year ago was a lot more potent than it seems to be this year. I think it's kind of done its rounds on a lot of people. I think they estimate about 150 million people in the U.S. have caught COVID already. I know I caught it in January, and it wasn't severe or anything, thank goodness for me. Again, you never know. I mean, it can be, but it was not severe for me at all. And then I did get vaccinated. So I guess I don't too much worry about it. You know, maybe it's being too comfortable. I don't know. But I just don't seem to be in a panic since I had it. Plus, I've been vaccinated again. Will I get it again? Who knows?
I'm not too concerned about it. If I get it, I get it. I mean, I can go down the street and get hit by a car. So, you know, we really don't have much control over what's going on in my theory, in my At least the way I think about it. I've been around a bunch of people that had it, in work and outside of work, and I seem to have skated so far. It is what it is. If I get it, I get it.
You already got it, right? KN6, KNE.
The first year was a rough one. I mean, I think we had, 700,000 dead in the U.S., which, again, that wasn't a massive wipeout of the population, but still, that's a pretty big number, So it was nothing to sneeze at, no pun intended. But it seems like the death count, if you will, has slowed down big time to a trickle compared to the amount of deaths we had, a year and a half ago, because it was just like, in the early months, it was really piling up pretty bad. And then it just seemed the cases continued, but it seems like the death toll seemed to trickle down significantly. And now the death toll, they don't even mention the death toll anymore.
And most of those people were in the homes for the older people. But anyways, we got Denny, KN6KNE from Southern California in there too. You guys doubled for a second.
Go ahead, Denny. This is K9WLW.
You still there, Denny? I heard you in there for a second. I know he's in the chat on the YouTube page. He said he was going to try to get on, so I heard him in there. I don't know what happened there. Is it Frank or Francis? What do you go by?
Legally by Francis, but people that know me call me Frank.
Do you consider me knowing you now? This is Craig.
Yeah, you know me enough, so you can call me Frank. Yeah, I just, again, anything legal, call sign, documents signed, legal documents, I sign my legal name. But again, when I'm talking to somebody, I don't identify as that unless I'm signing a legal document.
Sorry, I'm leaving some big spaces in there in case Denny wants to jump in there.
Well, I think we're losing all of our amateur operators from the Eastern and Central time zones because of the hour. I have noticed that Dirty Charlie does get quiet after midnight Eastern time. Oftentimes, it gets real quiet. Whereas earlier in the evening, 6, 7 p.m. Eastern, there's a lot more stuff going on. So, I mean, you got folks out west that can keep the airwaves up lit up pretty good if they're on, but it doesn't seem to be as many of them.
Last week I couldn't sleep and I ended up staying up all night. And like after midnight, it got a little quiet. And about 1:30 in the morning or so, I started hearing some people from Europe in here, some from the UK. And then they started dropping off, and I started hearing people get up in the East Coast probably around like 3:30 my time. It's pretty funny stuff.
Yeah, and then if you stay up really late, sometimes you'll hear Australia, because they're even, well, their clocks are weird in that they're, well, from where you sit, I'm trying to think, you're on the West Coast. Let's see, I'm on the East Coast. Australia finally went to daylight savings time in the last week or two. They're normally, during our summer, they're normally 10 hours behind me plus a day, so 14 ahead technically. But they moved up an hour, so now they're 9 hours behind me plus a day. And then when we go to standard time, they'll be 10 hours behind me plus a day. So, but you have, 3 hours that you're behind me, so that makes it gets confusing trying to calculate it in your head.
I thought they were 18 hours ahead of me, because I always looked at it as they're 6 hours behind, but they're really the next day ahead. So it'd be, 3 o'clock in the afternoon over there the next day?
KN6NJP comment.
We're 4 hours behind UTC. During their winter, they're 10 hours ahead of UTC. So that would be 14 hours ahead. And now they're on daylight time, so they're now plus 11. So they're plus 11. You're minus 4, 5, 6,
right.
7. You're minus 7 since we're still on daylight savings time. So 7 plus 11 is 18 hours. So for the moment, they're 6 hours behind you plus a day. But in a couple weekends, we're going to go all back an hour. So that there's going to be one more hour that we fall back. That's going to make them like 5 hours behind you plus a day for the rest of the winter. And then when we go to daylight time, then we go to this weird thing we're in now. But sometime in April, they go to standard time, where they go back an hour.
Go ahead, comment.
This is KN6NJP. Greg, according to what I'm seeing, it's 4 o'clock p.m. in Canberra, Australia, and they are UTC plus 11, like the gentleman said.
Copy that. Yeah, I wonder if they're the same call or same time zone as Sydney. I think they're off by an hour, but don't quote me on that.
They are the same time zone as Sydney. I think there was a ZL station that was keying up. If the ZL station would like to break in, go ahead, sir.
Zulu Lima 2 Hotel Mexico here. And it's just 6 o'clock on Friday evening here, so there we go. That'll be 4 o'clock in Sydney, also on Friday, so all is well. And we've had a nice spring day here today, and looking forward to another one tomorrow. Settle to it, Jim.
Welcome spring down there, and this is Greg, K6EGG.
Yep, definitely springtime. Looking forward to the summer. Though the winter wasn't too bad this year. It was quite warm, really, so with some standards anyway. we didn't get any snow here where I am in the North Island of New Zealand, out on the east coast, not far from a town called Napier. The name here is Peter. Over.
This is Greg, K6EGG. I'm also in here with Frank, sorry, I've spaced on your callers already. So bad with that. We're just here talking about time zones, and you probably heard us talking about it here. So I appreciate you jumping in here and saying hi. I'm also on YouTube live streaming. If you type in my call letters K6EGG, K6EGG, into YouTube search engine, and you should be able to find me there.
Yeah, Roger, thanks, Greg. No, I probably won't. You haven't got that much bandwidth to do all that sort of stuff. Anyway, all is well. Hope you guys are all surviving well. Our COVID thing is in a very precarious position at the moment. We've been very lucky without any much of it, and all of a sudden it's rearing its head again. Anyway, I'll leave you guys with it. I just thought I'd pop in and say hi. So, K6EGG, it'll do it, Jim. Back to you, Greg.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Good luck to you down there with the COVID thing. Yeah, it's kind of raging through everything here in the world, so hopefully it'll pass fast. And we're also here with Frank W9WLW. He's in Tampa, Florida on the East Coast.
Well, good evening to you, ZL2HM from K9, WLW Frank in Tampa, where it is now 1:04 a.m. Friday, early Friday morning. And let's see, it is currently, well, I got to switch to Celsius. I'm used to Fahrenheit. Sorry about that. It is currently waiting for the conversion to come up here. (27 degrees Celsius at 1 a.m.) And I guess we had a daytime high of 32, and I guess we're going to maybe drop down to 23 overnight. So it's still quite warm here in Florida.
Yeah, cheers, Frank. Is it all to HM? Yeah, it's 15 degrees Celsius here, whatever that converts to. I have got a conversion chart somewhere, but haven't looked it up. Oh no, it's quite good. We very seldom get much below zero freezing point here, so we're pretty lucky with it. We're all reasonably close to the sea, so we...
Anybody new to the channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I go on about 3 days a week here.
15 degrees C is about 59, 60 degrees Fahrenheit here. Anyway, I'll leave you guys with it. I'll go off and it's my dinner time, so I'll go and deal with that. You guys take care and enjoy the rest of your curacao there. So, good night, good evening from New Zealand. It's all to HM.
Well, Peter, it's good hearing you in there. We enjoy it when we get stations from New Zealand and Australia, for that matter. We welcome everybody from anywhere, and we enjoy hearing from you. So please break in any time. 73's to you from K9 WLW.
W5ERX
Good evening, guys. I just heard y'all in there. I thought I'd jump in and say hello.
Evening, Wade from Texas. You have Frank over here in Tampa. And I see you're using an oldie but goodie, the IC-92.
Yeah, it's kind of like brand new. There's really not a scratch on it. I picked it up at the Belt and Ham Fest up here in Bell County, Texas. Here just about a week ago, or yeah, I guess it was about a week ago. And came with pretty much every accessory you could need for it. And yeah, it was only $100, so I jumped on it. I didn't have a DStar handheld. I have pretty much everything else. Anyways, good evening, everyone. Good to hear you on. Just was getting ready to go to bed here soon, and thought I'd just pop in and say hello. W5ERX.
Well, I would say you got yourself a good deal for $100. Any handhelds are hard to come by with DStar these days since they've been in short supply. So finding one for $100, I say, was a good deal. So it's good to hear you in there, and I'm glad that you got yourself a handheld.
Yeah, I got a 9700 over here, and before I was hooking it up every once in a while for a little bit of DStar. But I primarily use it for satellites, and I use it portable, so it's kind of, it's not really part of the shack. I've got it rigged up in a harness and everything for working satellites portable. So it's a little bit of a pain to hook up. So I kind of wanted to get a handheld so I could jump in through the hotspot. Makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, with the advent of hotspots, handhelds are awesome because you can walk around the house and not have to worry about getting into it, and you got the portability to walk around, low power, and yeah, I'm like a collector of handhelds myself, digital handhelds, so I'm itching for that ID52 to be finally released in the States here.
Good luck.
I can't wait to snare that thing when it hits the shelves.
Yeah, I saw that. It looked like quite a nice radio. I think it's already out in Europe or Australia or somewhere. Not here quite yet. But yeah, I'm kind of a collector of handhelds myself. I've got a little something for everything. I've got P25. I've got some Fusion, some DStar now, some DMR, a little bit of everything, and some older analog-only units. And yeah, if you look at my QRZ page, you can see a handful of them. But yeah, I kind of like having them. It's nice to have kind of something for everything.
Yeah, the only kinds I don't have, or I don't have a P25 or an NXDN radio. I've kind of hesitated to dive into those because they're pretty pricey.
Let's take a listen to sideband here.
Yeah, they're a little bit
nobody
pricey.
on right now.
I've seen their discontinued. What are they? XTS 5000s and 2500s on eBay for not very much money. Usually not as much as you'd pay for a brand new handheld, ham handheld. But it just depends. You got to kind of know what you're looking for. If you don't get the right one, it might not program for you. But I don't have anything for NXDN, and I don't know anybody that talks on it, so I haven't ventured down that path.
Well, that's hit or miss. Yeah, here in the...
All right, I think I'm going to dump out of that. It's getting a little late. It's already 10:15 here in Southern California. That was Frank out there in Tampa, Florida. That's at 1:15 over there in the morning. I'm usually a night person, too. I didn't get much sleep last night. My eyes are getting all bloodshot. That's going to be the thumbnail, probably. Anyways, anybody new to the channel, thanks for watching. I normally come on about two or three times a week. Pardon me, I got a little indigestion. 2 or 3 times a week, depending on my work schedule, personal schedule, and so forth. So I'd love to have you on. So if you're new, hit the subscribe button, and then you'll see when I pop up on doing a live streaming. So just kind of normal rag chew, nothing too big. And also trying to help out some people that are, learning different aspects of ham radio, which, everybody's always learning, it seems like. That's part of the hobby, is trying to, experiment around with different modes and functions and different ways of getting your signal out and microphone settings and everything else. So once again, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. You guys take care, and I plan on being on tomorrow night. I'm going to start a little later probably because I have some plans in the early evening. And I'll be on probably Saturday and Sunday as well. So once again, this is Greg, K6EGG. Thank you for watching, and have a good night.